How's it going? My name is William, and this is my so called life.
Get the most fun out of life, out of being a mother and wife, with new fashion excitement that's all created by you. On your new Touch and Sew
Sewing machine by Singer.
Touch and Sew.
Another first from Singer.
Be the girl with the golden touch on your new Singer Golden Touch and Sew machine. Dozens of exclusive features, like this new built-in needle threader for the golden slant needle, and the push-button bobbin that winds right in the machine. What a wonderful new feeling. You can do all three kinds of sewing: straight, zigzag, and chain stitch.
Touch and Sew, the push-button bobbin way.
Come sew on one at your Singer Center. Choose from 5 Touch and Sew models from $149.95.
What's new for tomorrow
Is at Singer today.
They're just-touching Touchtronic memory machines.
Incredible.
I'm Polly Bergen. Only Singer makes machines this easy to use. Touch. The memory remembers your stitch pattern instantly. Touchtronic speed control remembers to adjust your fabric thickness. What about basting? Touch. Great. You can forget about your sewing machine and concentrate on sewing. The Touchtronic memory machine family. Come take a test, Touch.
100 million people sew easier with Singer.
Hello. Oh, man. It's been a froggy kind of day. My name is William. Welcome to my so-called life. I have all sorts of fun things planned this evening. How's it going? Hello. Joy, if you're still there, great to see you. To anyone who watches this in the future, I absolutely thank you. There's quite a few people who watch this in the replay, and I always forget to mention it in the beginning. You are absolutely amazing, and I thank you. And I see you, so thank you very much. Tonight, I'm going to be fixing my utter and complete mistake that was my weird Queen of the Hearts I don't even know what you call it at this point. It was a complete and utter disaster, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to bring it back to life. And I have a ton of denim, a bunch of ideas. So I'm going to start sewing and see what happens, like I always say. But before we get to any of that, oh man, I think I need some more coffee. This program is for entertainment purposes only, and its content is not intended to malign any religion, lack thereof, race, company, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by my so called life and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the views of every single human being on planet Earth. I hope everybody has a great evening flying my so called life airlines. Awesome. I still have a ton of fabric. Last time I really didn't show my fabric because no one said anything. But tonight, eventually, I'll show most of the fabric that I have. I've really been trying to get organized, but when you live in the equivalent of a fabric store, it's not necessarily easy. I'm gonna go grab my mistake, go grab my table and start sewing. This thing was a big yellow mistake. But I still have my pockets, and there's quite a few things that I'm going to do to fix this thing. And, I've been sewing for a while, so I know a bunch of tricks and all kinds of things to fix this utter and complete disaster. I was going for this like futuristic duster looking thing, and it just turned into a disaster. So tonight I'm gonna start fixing it. But the first thing I need to do is grab a decent sized table because I have to even out the edges on the arms. But eventually I'll figure it out. So one of the main problems with this is that its sleeves are huge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down to the size of my vests. I'm going to add pockets. I'm also going to try to make a larger sized hood. I don't even know if this table is big enough. I might bust out my 6-foot table just to see how big of a hood I could get on this. Because it's such a mistake, I'm just going to go completely outside of the box. And it's been a while. How's it going? This is Queen Sunkissed. Hello, hello. Welcome to the House of Sewing. How's your night going? Awesome. I'm going to be fixing something that I thought was going to be amazing, and it was just an utter and complete mistake. But I have a ton of denim, and I need to go get my other roll. This past weekend, I went crazy buying fabric, and I purchased a ton of denim. Awesome. Great to see you. Welcome. You are absolutely welcome. I'm going to go grab my giant roll really quickly. Oh, man. I live in a fabric store. Oh, why, hello. I got up and everybody showed up. Hello, hello. How's it going? Yay. Great to see you, Butterfly. Hello, hello. Yay. How's it going, Joy? Great to see you. Great to see you. Yay. Good to see you. I'm going to fix the giant mistake that was that duster. My attempt at a duster. I'm in Florida, about to hit the sack. I may drop in later. Great to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by, Butterfly. Yay! The weather has no idea what it wants to do here in California because it's like hot one day and then cold and then hot the next. Ugh. Got buttonholes to do. That's terrible. That is terrible. Thank you, Mrs. Queen Sunkiss. Thank you. Got buttonholes to do? Oh my. You know, I think that's going to be the next great search is I'm going to be looking for one machine just to do buttonholes. Still cold in Washington, waiting for summer. It's been really strange because it's been raining a lot here in California. Everything has grown. In my last video, actually, I think it was 2 videos ago, I just kind of put a shot of me in my backyard because it's so overgrown. It's crazy how much it's overgrown. Yikes. It's only 216 buttons on their holes. Yeah. Yikes. I think that's going to be the next great contest here in the House of Sewing. All right, so I'm going to try to match my denim. That's it. You know, I absolutely love the new vendor I found in the San Fernando Valley because she sells me denim for an affordable price. I'm not kidding you. In Los Angeles, people act like denim is gold. So I'm really glad to find somebody that I can actually buy a ton of denim at an affordable price. All right. Beautiful. Like I said, just because it's a mistake doesn't mean that you can't go back and fix it. This shirt was utterly and completely destroyed. In black, so hard to see. Yeah, that's even worse. It's black on black buttonholes. That's even worse. Do you pre-wash the denim as it may shrink? So I pre-wash the darker stuff. This stuff is starch stiff. And and to be real, this particular piece is such a mistake. When I'm done with everything, I'm gonna wash everything together. But I've learned yellow denim is it's funny, I don't even blame the denim. It was my serger died, which reminds me, I think I kind of figured out one of the reasons why my serger is only sewing on 3 threads because I missed one of the loops on my serger. Part of me wants to go and fix it right now, but I probably won't because it'll set me back a good half an hour. Oh. All right. So, like I said, this was a bit of a mistake. I'm going to completely even out the shoulders, but this thing's a mess. The yellow denim still pops. It still looks great, but I literally look like the Queen of Hearts called me in and she screamed off with her head. So I'm going to fix this. Oh. So I have a crazy method of pinning my shirts and measuring them. because I know my exact measurements. What I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I'm going to show you a House of Sewing secret. This is how I measure my let me do it with my left hand. I literally go as long as my fingers are. So it goes to about right here. If you notice, most of my vests they come in right here because that 1980s spiked linebacker look just isn't for me. There are certain vests that I keep the original, like I keep everything original, but that look isn't necessarily for me. Yep, that may help. Oh, it's been a day. I just got back from running around. Young Mr. Selling had his MMA class. And I'm developing a Jack in a Box habit. It's bad. Like I always say, he's getting fit and I'm getting fat. It's actually a good deal on both sides. All right. So let me get my rotary tool. And I know I am crazy with my cuts, but I've done this a million times. And I always leave a little bit of space just in case I've made an utter and complete mistake. Oh, I'm going to switch my angle. I hope everybody's having a good night. So what's everybody doing? What's everyone sewing? Joy is doing a million buttonholes. You know, one day I will be able to figure out the Thank you, Trees. I knew that would get a reaction out of all the people from Ohio. Just having coffee before I tackle some more holes. Oops, not yet. Oh, I know how that is. So it's actually a bit of a story. I've been watching WKRP in Cincinnati. I loved that show when I was a kid. And it was on reruns when I was a kid. I'm not, I'm not claiming that's from my era. It's from after my era. But then there's a YouTuber I love watching. I absolutely love her content. They review clothes. And they review people and all kinds of things. And her co-host is from Ohio. And one day she's sitting there and she's wearing a shirt that says Ohio isn't real. And so, bored, I went into YouTube and I typed it in. Fun fact, did you know there are people who actually think Ohio is not real? I had to get the shirt. I had to. I've heard of Australia. I've heard of all these crazy conspiracy theories, but there is a real sect of people who think Ohio isn't real. I really say this. If you live in America and you think Ohio isn't real, send me a DM. I'll send you on a Greyhound bus there. Oh, news radio. I'm not kidding you, Trees. I fell down this crazy rabbit hole of insane people. And so, it's right up there with Australia and everything else. And I love a good black and white t-shirt. For anyone who knows me, most of my clothes are black and white. I love wearing black t-shirts. So, and I'm here for snarky saying sorry. I love it. I love a good snarky t-shirt. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. But it's one of those funny things that you discover on the internet and you're like, I don't know if I want to continue down this rabbit hole. All right. So this thing is multi-layered. I'm going to start pinning it And I don't know who needs to hear this, but this one was definitely not a winner. But I'm going to go back and fix a lot of my mistakes tonight with this awful, awful idea. Let me grab my phone. Oh, there it is. Wow, 664 subs last time I looked was 500. Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you. Oh, I'm just here to sew and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. All right. So I'm gonna try to measure this without completely and utterly just continue down the path of destruction on this thing. Okay, boop. Perfect. That's perfect. I'm going to go directly across that line I just pinned. Awesome. Today, yay, destruction. I thought we were putting things together here. Well, I'm putting them back together, polished and assembled. Why don't you come and join the utter incomplete fun that's going on? And I have quite a few questions for you. I was sitting in the car listening to the hockey game that I'm not watching right now. Wasn't worth watching when I was watching. But I have quite a few questions for you. Yay, hello, hello. Oh, you know what's really funny? I work with extremely dark clothes. I love wearing all these bright colors and everything, but I've washed my hands so many times dealing with this yellow denim because like I smoke, I have a greasy job. Every time I touch this thing, I feel like I'm gonna stain it because it's so light. And when you get a deep stain in denim, it doesn't necessarily come out. But luckily, I haven't got any machine oil on this or anything. Perfect. I come with extremely wide cuts. I'm gonna make this into a vest, so I say right now, but I'm gonna add a hood, but I'm also cutting the sleeves first because I need to know how much space I need for the giant hood I'm about to put on this. Awesome. I had a great time on Rashawn's channel today. We were going through the greatest rap beef song, which brought me back. And it's really funny how your taste is it's all about environment and condition because it depends on where you're from, the genre, what your friend was listening to, what you're into, what festivals you've been to. Music is one of those things that it's universal, but it's one of those never-ending conversations. Yay, hello. But I always have a good time on the channel. Okay, I need to. Do you know what's so funny? My serger, for some reason, my serger quit every time I touched this thing. But oh man. I have many layers on this thing. So it appears that it's not cutting through all the layers, but there's like 6 or 7 layers on this because I kept on trying to cover up my mistakes. and it just kept on creating more mistakes. Oh, right. Perfect. I'm all over the place with music. I mean, I'm all over the place. But that's the beautiful thing about music is that it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. If it sounds good to you, it's something that you can rock out to. Oh, perfect. Yeah, hello, Pam. Pam, great to see you. I hope you had a great adventure. I want to hear all about it. It was so great to meet you. It was so great to meet you. I had a great time. Awesome. Awesome. All right, this thing is cut down way more. Perfect. I'm going to take my pins out. See, this is much more my size. I can tell just by looking at it. Oh, all right. Perfect. Perfect. You know, I'm constantly improving. My sewing is it's going up, you know, it's getting better. But every once in a while, I'll make something like this that reminds me that you shouldn't always skip steps. Yay. Yay. I don't know why that didn't turn on. Do you know, with this project, my serger died. It took me a while to get it back on. And this just was kind of a reminder of that. And I need to mute my television. There we go. It was kind of a sad reminder of that. So it's been almost 2 weeks since I've worked on this. So I'm definitely coming back to this with I've taken a vacation from this. So I've taken a deep breath and I'm ready to start over. Oh, come on. Is the game on? No, it is not. Okay, I'll worry about that later. Perfect. But the one thing that's most important is that I didn't give up on this. I decided to take a break. I walked away from it. But even now, just cutting the shoulders down, it's getting better. Headed home in Oregon at the moment. Awesome. Awesome. I lived in Oregon for a while. Oregon is a very beautiful place. Oh, that's better. See, that's manageable. Okay. Okay, I have a little bit of bunching there, but that's okay. You know what? I'm going to add some pockets. I'm going to add a hood on this and some pockets and call it a day. I've already made my pockets, so I just have to iron them. I'm going to serge this completely because I have a feeling I'm going to have to come back around with the denim and completely line this. I might. Should I go in a little bit more? No, I need to give myself some more space. All I can do is continue to add on this. All right. Well, I hope you have safe travels, Pam. Oregon is absolutely beautiful. I'm moving the wrong camera. I'm moving that like you could actually see me. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to attempt to serge this, but it's a bit heavy, so it gets thrown around while I'm serging. Oh. Perfect. Let's see. I think it's time for another cape. I've been watching the old school Battlestar Galactica, the original, not even the second reboot or the third. Oh. But I think it's time for another huge dramatic cape. It gives me an excuse to go back to downtown Los Angeles and buy a bunch of all those weird accents and all those things that are meant for a coat. But really, you could look like you're in Battlestar Galactica in 5 seconds with that. All right, I'm going to start in the back right here. I haven't made a solid cape in a while. And it's amazing how intricate a cape will get. But I'm still thinking about making a James Brown style cape. Because James Brown cape, it was just a normal cape, but in sequin. And basically, he had a giant patch on the back that said Godfather of Soul. So I definitely think it's time for a Godfather of Sewing patch. Oh man, this thing already mixed. I think this serger does not like this thing. Oh man. This is extremely layered, and I tried to cover up a mistake in the back, and it just ended up making this coat even more heavy. I used one of my drapes or carpets as lining, but I really it just made it even more funky. So I grabbed a yellow oopsie and I attempted to fix it, but all I did was just add massive amount of weight to the coat. Perfect. Oh man, beautiful. That is one thing about the serger. It's like it can fix its own mistakes. Perfect. All right. Awesome. I hope everybody's having a good night. It's been another exciting, crazy day here in the House of Sewing. And I've slowly been getting my voice back and losing it at the same time. I have no idea which direction it's going in. Oh. Oh man, that made even more of a mistake. I really think it's because of the weight. This is shifting back and forth on here. How's it going, Alibaba? Great to see you. Great to see you. There we go. But this is slowly coming together. After I've serged the edges, I'm going to add a giant hood. I haven't decided if I'm going to add pockets, but I'm probably going to add pockets. Yay! Hello, Alibaba. Hello. Hey, hello, Mona. Great to see everybody. Great to see everybody. Hey, had fun on your cruise. Awesome. Awesome. Great to see you. Hello, hello. How's it going, Mona? Awesome. I was watching your live stream today at my job. I absolutely love watching your live streams. Yay. Hello, hello. Good evening to everybody. This evening, I'm going to be fixing my Queen of Hearts coat. I've already cut the sleeves down to where it's wearable, to where the sleeves don't look like they're going like this. But I'm gonna slowly start working on it. I'm gonna try to get my 6 foot table in here because I want to have a giant hood on this thing, and my 6 foot table is just wide enough where the hood is huge. Yay! I absolutely love watching your streams. And people are in and out of the shop, and you're perfect for the environment of my shop. Awesome. Yay. Hello, everybody. Great to see everybody. Awesome. Yay. All right. Like I was saying earlier, this was such a mistake. I didn't even want to come back to it. But I've cut the sleeves down and I'm slowly working it to where it's something that I'm going to wear. Sorry, give me one quick second. It's kind of funny how I get so used to making certain things that I've made quite a few coats in this direction, and I just made nothing but mistakes on this. It's because I came in like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, and I just made nothing but mistakes. But I took some time off with the coat. I came back with a clear head, and now I'm gonna fix this thing. And I don't know if I'll be working with yellow denim anytime soon again. I haven't decided if I'm gonna line the hood with yellow or if I'm just gonna actually I should keep the color scheme going. Perfect. Ugh. Beautiful. Your hoods are large enough to put in a secret stash pocket in the. Definitely. I see you're still working on my suit. How's it going, Dose? Great to see you. Great to see you. Awesome. Do you know what's really funny? When I think of stash pockets, it's not what you think of. When I was a kid, keep in mind, my mom had an army of kids and she babysat with other kids. When we would go to the movies, she would take us to the grocery store and we'd buy candy and all kinds of things. And she'd be like, all right, put it in your back pocket, your side pocket, tuck it in your sock. And we'd walk in the movie theater sloshing with all of our candy and stuff. So when I make stash pockets, I make it more so that you could sneak red vines into the movie theater. For all my people who still go to movie theaters. Oh. Oh, that was not happy on that one. Perfect. But I want pockets so big that I could sneak a pancake dinner in there. Perfect. Kangaroo sneakers with the zippers. Jenko's always had cool pockets in weird places. They did. You know what's really funny? That whole era was like that. I had a pair of Etnies that had they had pockets in the tongues. I had all kinds of crazy shoes like that back in the day. Perfect. And it's really funny, all the old in the 90s, the original skate shoes, all of them came with pockets in the tongue. perfect. See, that's the one thing about a serger is that it evens out everything. All right. This fits a little bit better. So I cut it down. I'm gonna add so that's perfect. See, that's much better. Before it made me look like a 1980s linebacker with the sleeves. So I'm gonna add a hood and I'm gonna have to press my pockets. I'm not necessarily a fan of ironing, but it's one of those dark, dirty secrets no one ever tells you about sewing. When you start making your own clothes, it's kind of like painting. You spend more time prepping for what you're going to do than what you actually do. Uh, thank you. Thank you. I had to even out a little bit. The yellow denim is crazy. Working with yellow denim, it is a crazy material. I still like the baggy look. When I move the table, I'll back up a little bit because I was trying to make this extremely long, but I had to cut the bottom because this project was just one mistake after the other. Oh, man. Oh, Dose. Who won? Who won? I was watching a bunch of people. I don't even know, what do you call it? Do you call it practicing MMA? I'm so old. I don't even know. They were MMA-ing whatever they were doing. I have to press everything when I sew. You're supposed to. You're supposed to press everything when you sew. I'm a bit of a pirate. I skip corner. I cut a lot of corners. I am the Donnie Don't of sewing. And for anyone who doesn't know what Donnie Don't is, when I was a kid, there was this weird campaign on television, and there was this character. He was literally hand-drawn stick character, and Donnie Don't did everything you're not supposed to do. So if you ever hear me reference Donnie Don't was like the cartoon to tell kids, like, don't be a bad kid. I think Eazy-E won against Pusha T. Wow. Good. That is one of the greatest songs of all time. That is such a good song. But I'm biased. I'm biased because of my age. I don't know if I have enough room. Let's see if all my cleaning is paid off and if I can get the 6-foot table in here. I've really been cleaning. I've been bagging stuff up to get rid of it. But it's amazing the stuff you find. I have found so much fabric. I don't know if I can justify going fabric shopping this weekend. All right. Oh. Okay. Back about 3 or 4 years ago, I used to always have this table in here, but this room has grown. So we'll see if I have enough room for this in here. I think I do. Oh. Perfect. Hold on. And I stuck the landing. My oopsie mountain is kind of in the way. I don't know if I can get behind this thing. You know what's so funny? This room is much more maneuverable without my Golden Girls chair. I do miss my giant, comfortable Golden Girls chair, but I needed a serious chair so I could actually work in here. And for anyone wondering, the Golden Girls chair is in my living room. I now have 2 of them in there. Ooh. Perfect. It's much easier with being able to move that table around. Move the chair around so I can get behind this thing. There's only one way I can fix this gaudy outfit is by just adding an Emperor Palpatine huge hood. Oh. Like I said, it's amazing how I found a reliable vendor in the San Fernando Valley. I still to this day I do not know why people treat denim like it's gold. I see more shit as you move. I am a real life hoarder. I'm not like I am a real life hoarder. I'll be the first one to admit it. For anyone who knows me, I in 10 years I'm gonna be on hoarders, but it won't even be it'll just be sewing machines. They're gonna be like, and in Los Angeles, California, we have met this man who owns 7,000 sewing machines. Oh, good times. Good times. I haven't even folded this properly, but I think I can do this by myself because I just need to get a good corner. Perfect. Okay. Oh. Perfect. So I have a question. Should I line the hood with yellow? The scheme is denim and yellow. Should I line the hood with what I have left? I have many different yellows, but I have this this is the closest I could get to this. See, right there they look like they're the same color, but up close it's a toss up. There's 2 sewing machines under the desk. No, okay. So I didn't say that I didn't have sewing machine issues. I have quite a few sewing machines in here. And I opened up because I had this whole space in here that I was ignoring. I opened up that whole storage space and put a ton more sewing machines behind Master Chief over there. Yes, line it up with that. So I should. Okay. So I should continue on my color scheme. You know, I've given up on this project like 4 or 5 times. It's because I'm so used to sewing with patterns. I get this thing in my head of like, hey, I know how to design clothes. I know how to make stuff. And then this one turned into an utter and complete disaster. I'm going to. Machines under every desk. I do. I need a sewing machine from every era, Well, every era I can get my hands on. And I am part of the Touch and Sew Preservation Society. Okay. I'm breaking my own rules. I'm like 10 steps ahead of myself. I'm not measuring. And if anyone wonders why I quit wearing measuring tapes, is because I started cutting them with my rotary tool, and it wasn't even funny anymore. How many times I did? Oh. Okay. All right. Do you know what's funny? Depending on what I'm doing, the measurements are either exactly the same or just it's always a bit off. Even though I'm making the same thing, relatively speaking, like when I make a coat or a pair of pants, there's always that one little thing where I'm like, oh, why is that a little bit bigger or smaller? Oh man, that's a mess. Okay. Oh, not you. I have to if my blade goes bad, it is I have a bunch of replacements, but they're buried in a drawer over there. So this is gonna have to manage for the moment. Well, I put a portable under every treadle. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like this this back wall right here, you can really only see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like nine of them. But I have the entire back wall lined with antique sewing machines. I try to keep the modern ones more where I could grab and use them, but the antiques just look better. All right. So I am going to make this humongous, but I still have to measure the neck out. I always go a bit over just to give myself room to negotiate. Yeah, that's perfect. No. Oh, my blade does have a flat spot. I am not going to let that destroy this. You know what's funny? This project has been doomed from the jump, and I am not going to stop. Yay!
Hello. How's everyone doing?
I feel the same way with knives. It's an illness. Well, I guess we're gonna have an impromptu sewing machine collectors anonymous. My name is William. Welcome to the House of Sewing.
Thank you. My name is Waternay, and I'm a sewing machine collector.
Would you say enthusiast?
Yes.
When you told me your number, I was like, okay, you really are one of us.
Actually, I don't even know my number. That was just what my mom counted in one room while I was in the bathroom, and the room was all vulnerable to counting.
I am sad. Was watching weather radar and saw a tornado do massive damage to a town.
Oh no.
That's why I quit watching the Weather Channel. Oh, this thing is a windsock. I had to bust out. This proves to me that I really have been cleaning in this room because I can finally fit my 6-foot table in here.
And I heard you have a lovely pair of Golden Girls chairs in your living room now.
I do. I felt bad. I bought one and I bought it and I was like, I wonder how long those chairs have been together. And I'll tell you, what ruined my life was my son was obsessed with Toy Story when he was a kid.
Uh-huh.
So I think everything comes alive at night when I'm not looking. So I felt sorry for the chair. I was like, oh, it's missing. It's lived its whole life. So I went and got. What the funny thing is? The first chair I got for $3 or $4. I went back the next day. They wanted $7 for the other chair. And I'm like, you upped the price overnight.
Well, at least it was 7 instead of 17 or 70.
True, true. But it just made me laugh. Like they upped the price. They're
I
probably gonna
think
lie and say it's one of a kind.
little do the poor other people know it's one of a pair. That's the worst if you're trying to buy like nightstands. I think a lot of times, the aged grandmother moves into a senior living facility or something, and they only take one nightstand with them, and then the other one is there, and if you need a pair of nightstands, good luck.
My grandmother lived at my house.
Well, that's because you are a kind person, unlike a lot of people who or maybe other grandmas want their friends or independence. I don't know.
I
I
like
don't.
your idea, Alibaba, about covering the chair.
Me
My
too. Good
my
subject.
grandmother, yeah, she needed family, and so she lived with me.
Mm-hmm.
Dementia is cruel and it's mean.
Mm.
I need to get the other blade. I can't continue with I have this weird thing. I have proper equipment. I have things that work. I just need to get off my duff and grab them.
So is that the wrong rotary cutter, or is that just a dull blade and you need to put a fresh one on?
I cut corners literally with blades. Like I do things with rotary blades you're not supposed to.
Shame.
And so I put flat spots on it. It's me. It's me. I'm using it on like this table is so scarred from me cutting on it, but it's a Rubbermaid.
Well,
I
if the table
agree.
is
I agree with Mona. It is very cruel. But I come from a big family where like it literally grandma lives at your house. Like and my grandmother, she was mad though. I don't blame her because she went from a 7-bedroom house to this humble hovel. She was like, you live in a shack, and I'm like, well, you owned it originally. You should.
my grandmother lived with my mom until she died. Mm.
I think it's something that we don't talk about enough,
Mhm.
and it wasn't easy. It was like the one of the weirdest, craziest times of my life. It wasn't like awesome, you have a nightstand he made.
Hmm?
I
Who?
have I'm sitting beside the nightstand my grandfather made in the night in the
Oh.
19 is that 70s or 60s or both? So tell me, Will, does a rotary cutter slice celery like a do you know what's sad? You're not too far off. Like I use it instead of using my scissors to open things, I'll use my rotary tool. Shame, throw tomatoes at me. Shame me. Shame me. I know. I know.
All right. This is not balloons. These are tomatoes coming at you. No, wrong one. There, this one.
Inappropriate thumb.
Inappropriate thumb. There's no thumbs up to that. You get tomatoes. They're heritage. They come in different colors.
That is awesome though. That's what I was trying to explain to my lovely co-host last night of why I'm such a hoarder. It's because my grandparents had all oak furniture. They had like handmade stuff. That stuff. I'm still mad about a desk. My grandfather had a 9-foot desk that I didn't take out of the house, and I should have.
What? But
No one
what?
would help me. No one would help me. And it was 9 feet. I had to take it out because, he had old school double doors. And so I had to take it out the double doors and put it in the garage. And I dragged that thing. Like one of the neighbors felt sorry for me because he saw me struggling and helped me.
You
Best thing
couldn't.
my grandfather made with my mother. That's the only thing I didn't take out of the house. I took the China hutch, all the China everything, but I didn't take the 9-foot desk.
Hmm. You couldn't take it apart to make it more maneuverable?
By the time the house was completely empty, I was so burnt out and done with, like I'd spent almost 2 years redoing that house.
Yeah.
And at that point, like I was done. And it's funny how when people will say they'll help you and they don't. They had 2 years to help me. And that's funny, like people in my family, when they walk in here, they know not to ask because they'll see something, they'll be like, oh, that's really nice, and then they'll stop because they'll be like, oh no, he got that from grandma's house, and they'll know I'm gonna give them a speech like, well, if you had helped me, I would have like honestly I would have given them half the house, but no one helped me, so I own all this crazy stuff my grandparents went around the world and collected.
You're in your little red hen era.
I have so much denim, and I think the lovely vendor who I buy fabric from every weekend now at the San Fernando Valley Swap Meet has subscribed. I think she's subscribed, and I just wanted to say, I love you. I absolutely love you. You are amazing. You give me such good prices. I don't even go downtown. You saved me gas. Even if you started ripping me off now, you don't even know how low your prices are. I love you. If you're watching, you are amazing. Te amo. No, it's good when you meet, like, I've befriended these people and they're amazing. She's just good to me and gives me amazing prices.
Nice.
I'm going to continue on my color scheme. You know what's funny? When I started working with the yellow denim, I was thinking of Janet Jackson's in the All Right video, and that point when Cab Calloway walks out in the all yellow suit.
Yeah.
Which, for the record, the zoot suits that we see now are not what they actually wore back in the day. They would wear these tiny breasted suits with these just ginormous tails. Well, depending on where you're from, different suits. I need to replace this blade.
And where you were going and the time of day, and that reminds me, I need to download Vintage Portia's book, since there's no hard copy in English. If you're watching Vintage Portia, get on that.
You have all these recommendations. I have like a backlog of channels I need to watch.
Well, I have a backlog too, because sometimes you're like, oh, wait, I haven't seen the latest from this person, this person, this person, this person, or this person.
Hey, and shout out to Joy for making me feel better for all the scissors and rotary tools that I collect.
Well, I've got 3 right here. I was sewing last night. You know how I wanted out? Okay. So I have a knit shirt that I like, and I was going to make it out of a woven. So I made a wearable mock-up. So I was working on that last night, and I gave myself some extra room since I was making it out of a woven and not a knit. I did not give myself enough extra room. The sleeves are so tight around my arms. Oh my goodness. So that is
one of my new pet peeves. When we're walking around like, why did I do this to myself?
So look, I put silk ribbon for a nice binding on the front collar. I understitched my back collar facing like a good sewist.
You did it the right. No shame in your game. You did it the right way. Unlike you know what? You literally come to the bad side of town because there's none of that going on here in the house. So.
The trouble is, I couldn't really try it on until it was done, and so I just did because I did French seams on it. Good side of town. I did French seams on it. Although I kind of wish I had put some hug snug. I'll probably do that. But anyway, so I just did the part of the underside of the sleeves. I mean the side seam because it's a grown on sleeve that I turned into a raglan sleeve just for fabric conservation. Um, and so I just did the first part of the French seam so that I could try it on. And oh my goodness, these armholes are very small. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the side seam and I'm gonna put in a gusset in the underside of the sleeve so that I have a little more space. And then I made the shirt longer, but I think I want it even longer. So I'm going to put on I'm going to, square off the round bottom. And then I'm going to put like a band around the bottom to make it longer. So that's my sewing. How's everyone else's sewing going?
Joy, I believe she was sewing. She said 216 buttonholes or something like that.
Oh my.
That's what I said. That's like, if you want to like, you'd have to put an eye bolt in the chain and chain my foot to the floor. There was you know what's really funny? A lot of people, there's like a dark side to sewing, even in America. There's a lot of jobs. Like right now, I could go get a job where all day long I'm just putting zippers on or doing
Oh.
buttonholes, like thousands every day. And that goes on everywhere.
Repetitive stuff like that. Oh my goodness. I would lose my mind.
But like, okay, but what if I worked at this place where we would process 2 million breadsticks every night. We supplied everything north of Stockton, California. This is when I lived up north. Even this was when my son was born, so this was 2009-ish, okay? They were paying me $35 an hour back then.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. But it was a ruthless job because if you messed up, you would get fired on the spot because so many people wanted your job. People were nervous. Like there were people shaking at the job.
Oh my goodness.
But because we were making a lot of money, but we would literally the bags would come down this huge chute. You'd grab 4 at a time, put it in a box. Grab 4 at a time, put it in a box. I would do that for 4 to 5 hours at a time. I would have 15s, all the breaks and everything. Every day in my head, I would quit. I got paid every week. Every Friday, I would be like, okay, it's worth it. Could you do a job like that?
No. Didn't even have to think about it.
Y'all know I'm the slow kid in the sewing class. Do they have like clothing blueprints, like you have a certain style but wanted to make it yourself? Yeah, they have all kinds of patterns. I love a good pattern.
Oh, have a good night, Mona.
Have a great night, Mona. Thank you so much for stopping by. And to everybody on the East Coast and, Midwest and everywhere else, I appreciate it when you stop by because I know on the West Coast, we're just getting started when everyone's going to bed. Let me switch my camera. I am obsessed with buying patterns of people. That Norris guy, Mimi G's husband, if I ever see him, I'm going to be like, bro, you have stuck me for so much money. But I love buying patterns, and they make patterns for men. They make a ton of patterns for men. I am going to find the print. I want this guy's spray on beard too. I love that. I want that print.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm on a weird quest for that print. Um, I have a ton of dude patterns. This was the one I just recently used. That was for
Oh,
my
that,
W. Sorry.
hmm?
That's for my WKRP in Cincinnati. We all know the world famous Mimi G R11407. And her husband, he has his own line of patterns, and that's the one that I paid $20 for. And I'm still bitter about it.
So, Dose, you're not the slow kid. You're like a transfer student. You've just come. It's a new school. You're learning the stuff. Ooh.
If anybody, and I'm not kidding you, if you live in the Los Angeles area and you feel like making some money, I will pay you to cut this out for me. That's the point I'm at. I opened this pattern. I was like, why is it so intricate? I will pay you. I want to wear this. Oh.
So, to answer your question, Dose, would it be like something special or new or just a basic pattern? All of the above. You can get something like super, super basic all the way up to something like really fancy and intricate. And then you can get books that tell you how to make your own patterns and things like that. Hey, Rashawn.
Yeah, Rashawn, how's it going? How's it going?
So yeah, the world is your oyster.
Patterns go from $3 to outrageous prices. I paid $20 for the overalls one because I'm crazy. I grabbed it and I was in line. I'm like, I guess I'm already here.
Indie patterns can, prices can vary. And then if you get from they call it the big four, which is Simplicity, Butterick, oh dear, who are the other two? Well, whatever. They're like big major pattern companies. A lot of times, like if you go to Joanne or whatever, they'll have a sale where patterns are half price or stuff like that. So you can, and then you can also get used patterns, like at thrift stores or online or what have you. Just make sure it's got all the pieces. And you can get those for super cheap. Under $1 sometimes.
I go crazy. I go crazy buying patterns, especially like the $3, $4 patterns. I had to catch up on wrestling. Awesome.
Oh my.
It's really funny. Being around you guys has got me watching wrestling again. But I have cable television and I needed an excuse to watch it. Because when there's no sports on, what am I really? I'm like watching Hawaii 5-0 and Good Times. The world is my oyster, so that's why I'm feeling so salty. Why
is it, or is that just your natural state?
Why were they so cheap back in the day and they're so expensive now?
What are we talking about?
Oysters.
Oh, well, it's we like to tell people that certain things are more valuable or that certain things are not, like lobster used to be prison food.
When I was a kid, we'd go to Mexico and like they had lobster everything because it was so abundant.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cheap and it was like, it was considered the cheaper alternative to everything.
I saw Alibaba's comment earlier about vintage Porsche going to PT Cuomo. Pardon my pronunciation. I'm very sorry, Italians. That is amazing to see people's style. They dress up for that. Making pearls? Who's making pearls? Oh, yeah, I see. Sorry. Okay. Whoosh, I got it. It almost went by my head and I caught it.
I've shifted mostly to YouTube instead of TV since the event. TV is so hard to tolerate because of ads. I'm such a traditionalist. I don't know if I watch KTLA 5, and one of the reasons I do is because they come on at 4:00 in the morning. Well, 4:15 ish. And it's like not they're not. They're like actually talking about the news. They're not talking about Britney Spears. They wait till at least 11 o'clock in the morning to do that. I'm one of those people. I haven't cut the cord yet. I had a landline all the way up till 2022.
I still have it's not through the land anymore, but it is a quote unquote landline that I have through the company.
That's just cruel. Lobster with no butter. Sorry. Wow. Do you know what people used to make fun of me because I still had a landline? I remember like there was an age test because I would be like, yeah, or I'd be online and my phone would ring and people would be like, what's that? I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But it got so bad that every time the phone would ring, my son and I would run to the phone because all it was telemarketers. So we were just batting around like we were like cats with mice, just playing with them, you know?
That's why I still have a quote unquote landline, so that I have a number to give, so that I won't be pestered on my real phone number.
So what are y'all on? Oysters and lobsters, food talk, all the above. both my parents have landlines. You know,
I had some
oh, go ahead.
I had some young roommates, and one of them, their phone wasn't working for whatever reason. I'm like, well, you can use this one. And he picks up the receiver and he's like, oh, it works.
Do you know what's really funny? That would actually upset me. Do you know whenever I see those pictures of young people in front of payphones on Twitter, I'm like, keep scrolling. This is going to hurt my feelings. It's a phone.
I still like the one where the family offered up a prize if the two young people could figure out how to make a phone call in under a minute. They didn't win.
I came from in my house. My parents still had rotary phones.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm classically trained.
There's a certain age that shudders when you mention a phone number with lots of nines in it or zeros.
You know, my mom actually solved the mystery for me. My grandmother never said goodbye. She never said goodbye. And I asked my mom one day, what's wrong with grandma? And she was like, bro, your grandmother is from the time when they actually had to speak to the operator. And they didn't have time for all that. They said what they had to say and they hung up the phone. Make them text how we used to.
Oh my word. That was the worst.
The person there was someone who was my mom's boss and she was deaf. My mom had a telephone where you put the receiver on top and you type into it.
Oh yeah.
It's still somewhere in my mom's house. I bet that thing's worth a ton of money. But it was made so deaf people could communicate on a telephone. I still have a rotary phone, alabaster base, brass, other parts. I have a bunch of wannabe ones like that. And I had a bunch of old school candlestick ones. I got obsessed with buying telephones. And I had this crazy idea where I was going to recreate the phone that Batman had in his office. That Bruce Wayne in the television show. You know, in the old television show where they'd open up the case and Beethoven's head had a phone in it. It was the bat phone. I just never found a statue of Beethoven. I have a red phone and everything. But Alibaba is, I try not to bring up party lines because it shows my age. I remember party lines. A rural route with several homes, one line, different rings for each. We had party lines. Oh, not saying goodbye is what always catches my attention on shows and movies. I didn't know people really did that.
Well,
it drove me crazy. It drove me with my grandmother because you'd be in mid-sentence and I stutter and she'd be like, boop.
I think, I mean, that might have been the case for your grandmother's generation, but for anyone later than that, um, people did say goodbye. But I read an article, and apparently that's not really a thing in movies and television because they're always trying to cut stuff for length, and they don't have time for that. And so it's like one of the first things to go in the editing. The same with people call somebody, and then they don't say hello when they answer. The other person just starts talking. I'm like, how would you even know? But
by the way, they're breathing heavy. That drives me crazy too.
Good gracious. Alibaba had a 5-digit phone number at one point.
The one that got me is when they switched all the area codes in the LA area, and we went from like 3 to 300.
They switched they did that a couple times because, LA area code used to be 213, and then it was 310, and then they changed it again. Well, they split it up, so depending on where you were, you might not have had 310, but
we did, but it got switched because I'm in the north part, and they gave us a crazy number.
Did you ever
I can say it. We used to be 805, and now 805 is Ventura County. It has nothing to do with us. In Perth, Ontario, they still had the first Bell phone working. That's crazy. I still know the phone number we used to call for the time and the weather. We had one of those, and it had a joke of the day. And I would call, and people thought that I was like this comical genius. But I would call this number. I was in elementary school. I'd call this number every day, and I had a joke every day.
There's a number that you can call for Hall & Oates, a Hall & Oates song. And apparently it's still working because I tried it not too long ago, and I still got a Hall & Oates song. Dose says that number still works. He just tried it.
Oh, that's crazy.
For the weather time.
That's like the Doctor Who website from the Christopher, I can't say his name, from the 9th, Eccleston. He they had this website that actually Mickey looks up. It's on every single one of my phones because I clone my phones. Every once in a while I check, the website is still up. It's a BBC website, but it's still up. It's I think it's called Who is Doctor Who or something. Where is it? It's so weird that it's still an app in my phone. It is.
Ooh.
One word. It's Who is Doctor Who.
Okay.
And that website has been up since, let's see if it's still up. I have to. Curiosity and the cat are gonna find out right now. Hey, will you do me a favor? Will you please grab your dear old father a Pepsi and a water? Thank you so much. Thank you. No, I just want a Pepsi and a bottle of water. Thank you so much. My hands are painted on. Thank you so much.
Who is doctorwho.com, .co.uk,
They switched it. It's gone. Oh. Well, that's all right. It was up for long. Now it goes to the new doctor. Oh, that's so funny. They finally got rid of it. That website it was saved into my phone. It just goes to bbc.com now. Oh, that's so funny. They had that website up. When did that show come out?
What was it? 2009 with the reboot?
So they've had that up since 2009. Thank you.
I didn't get a Pepsi. I'm forced to drink coffee.
I'm actually drinking coffee, water, and Pepsi at the same time.
That's okay.
You need Pepsi and milk like Laverne and Shirley. Have you ever tried that combination before?
um, I don't think I've had Pepsi and milk, but it's really tasty to put a little bit of cream in your root beer. Kind of like the like a root beer float after the float's gone.
I put Hershey syrup in my coffee to make a poor man's latte. I mean, a poor man's mocha.
That's how
Tastes
they do
ex-
it at the place.
I was about to say it tastes exactly the same. I wish I could revisit the sites I visited 20 years ago. I was
Oh,
shocked they had it up for so long because on the Doctor Who, and it's funny because they're on the old school internet, and like they have it's basically all the sightings throughout time that have seen this particular Doctor Who. I can't believe they changed it.
yeah, that's sad that they turned that off.
You know what though? I'm stuck in time. Like progression is just a way of life. Oh no. I have that song stuck in my head. You've got to get yourself together. You got stuck in a moment. You too, or what? I know you too. Are you a U2 fan or what?
No,
What?
I know, I know.
What?
Yep.
I'm beside myself right now. I thought you'd back me up on the U2.
I used to know someone who really liked you too, and he said at one point, "Everybody likes you too," and I'm like, "No, they don't."
I can't I can't believe you. I was gonna I'm
The occasional song, but not really. And
I want to go to the Sphere in Vegas so bad. My son wants to go see an MMA event. There's all these things going on, and YouTube right now is performing at the Sphere, which is
oh,
3 hours, well, 4 going the speed limit from my house. LimeWire was good. I can't believe the suburban delegation. I can't believe you don't like it.
sorry. I know a lot of people would consider that heresy, but
Joshua Tree. Come on, that's like up the street from our house. Well, again, that's another 3-hour drive headed east. Oh, LimeWire was 80s crack cocaine. For real.
so I've sent you a photo to share with the class.
All right, let me cut this really quick.
Okay.
It's gonna bother me because the surgeon won't be able to fix this much. Okay. Is it okay, cool. You know what's funny? I actually remember this. I told you last night I had the internet in 1996 before I knew the consequences of the internet.
Back when someone used to call your house and it would kick you off the site accidentally.
For real. These kids will never know the struggle. This photo is what Google looked like in 1999.
Google is a pure search engine. No weather, no news feed, no links to sponsors, no ads, no distractions, no portal litter. Nothing but a fast loading search site. Reward them with a visit.
25 years later proves that all lies.
How
Survey
things
says. You know what? I need to go to the Raptors at my mom's house. I guarantee you I will find one of those AOL discs that used to come with the newspaper. I collected them. I would collect those things.
Oh, the amount they used to charge you. And then you'd go to a website and you're like, no, why do you put so much stuff on the website? It's use up all my data.
In one swoop, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. These kids will never know.
Oh,
Or if you want to talk about texting, how about when we got charged per word? I
I don't
downloaded
remember being charged per word, but I remember being charged per text, and then the bill would come.
It was unreal.
My mom and I were on a shared plan, and she's like, "Can't you just tell people not to text you?" I'm like, no.
Same with my brother and I were on a plan when I lived in Oregon, and he called me one day. He's like, I had no idea you text like a 15-year-old high schooler. I didn't know, man. I didn't know that you would get charged that much per. It was per letter, wasn't it, or per
No,
word? Or
no, it was per text. But the problem is, like, you would send a message, and instead of someone putting all the information in the one text, they'd say okay, and then they'd like, so we'll meet at 5 and send that, and then it's like, it'll be great to see you, and you'd send that, and then
see,
I'm really
this
looking
is
forward to
why.
this, and then they'd send you a smiley face, and you're like, oh my word, you just cost me $1. Like,
See, this is why pages were cheaper. 20 bits per second. I was a lucky kid.
Alibaba says, I downloaded with a friend a game for the Apple IIc in 1984 and was a D&D 3D game, Sticks, and took 2 weeks and a couple grand in long distance charges. Oh my goodness.
I've been there, my friend, with an ill decision on a website that went to South Africa. And you know what? I always talk about my dad, but he lied to my mother's face for me. And I respected that man so much for that. Because she was coming to the dinner table to absolutely chop it in half. And I was on the other half. And he took a L for me. He was like, I went on that website, and she was like, you're nasty. And she just walked away because she wasn't going to do anything to him. I learned that day. He looked at me. He's like, you really need to pay attention to what you go to on the internet. Ah, the good old days.
Doe says Netscape had the free month. You just had to make 1,000 emails.
I have a ton of stuff wrapped in newspaper in here. I need to find the old computer ads. I recently saw, I'm pointing like you guys can see it. I recently saw on the Raptors an ad for an old IBM. It was like $2,000. And the computer was this big. It was huge.
I remember shopping for a new computer for the office, and we were like, ooh, should we get the one with the 1 gig hard drive? I don't know that we need that much storage.
That reminds me. And now, like, I have my external hard drive. I'm going to have to get an even bigger one, too. I have a bad feeling. I should have got the mega one. Do you know what's so funny? Like, I'm so itchy. I'll like stutter on spending $300 or $400 for something, but then I'll get its cheap knockoff for $200, and then wonder why it doesn't work.
False economy. Huh, I don't know that one. NASA had See You, See Me, much like Zoom, but very choppy. I think that was 2003.
I just have U2 stuck in my head. I'm shocked you don't know U2. I'm shocked.
I know U2. I just don't listen to them by choice.
And let's be real, like, a lot of it was being trapped in the car with my mother, and I had no choice. But YouTube was tolerable. My pops would listen to old Twainy country.
Oh no.
And now I have Desperados Waiting for a Train stuck in my head. It's a good song. I don't like it. He was crazy with that song. He just listened to it over and over. I read the real first internet of those from 1987. Do you know what's really funny? I was watching this thing about this new technology because I'm subscribed to Thames, the old, the old television channel in the UK, and they were talking about this new technology called compact discs in 1982. But of course, like everything they were putting the compact disc in was this big. The units were huge. I've seen a 24. Is that terabyte
Yeah,
external hard drive?
you need one of
I,
those.
I do, but they're $600 or $700. I don't know why I still have my boots on.
Yeah, but if you
Oh,
get 3 smaller ones, you're spending just the same.
I have in the middle bedroom right now. I have 4. It was gradual. It went from like 5 to 8 to 10 to 12, and then this other one I have is huge. I can't remember how big it is, but I have to get the bigger one.
I need to get an
Oh.
external drive.
It's really saved me though. Oh, sorry. I just took my boots off.
Ah,
But it saved a lot of drama because all of my old stuff's in there. Like in my latest video, there's a shot of me on the tractor. That's from like 4 years ago. 3, it's from a while ago. Gosh, that really is like 4, almost 5 years ago. Like I said to you last night, that room has not changed. The only thing that's changed in that room is me.
there's an old bottle of penetrating oil in the same spot, dusty on the shelf.
Hey, at least I know where it is. That is a reliable bottle of penetration oil sitting on the shelf. That is that's old reliable. Like Old Faithful until Old Faithful wasn't Old Faithful anymore.
Excuse me. The 1-inch videotape. 1-inch videotape. What are we referring to? I don't think I'm that much younger than you, Alibaba. I should know what this is.
Do you think people would be interested in my collection of cameras?
Yes.
Because, like I told you, I was so shocked when I found out a Kodak A was actually common and lots of people own them. But I have every Inception from a Kodak A on.
Ooh, that would be quite a collection to see. You have some
Oh,
amazing
wow.
stuff, Alibaba.
Oh, wow. In my external hard drive, I have all those videos from that guy who I'm still mad at that guy. Like, you know what? If people want to share my stuff, this is for the internet. If you want to make fun of me, if you want to like have a simulcast where you're like, hey, look at this lame ASMR sewing guy, go at it. I think it's weird that that guy has the locks on every decent singer commercial. He literally owns them. How do you even go about that?
I don't understand why he won't like make a deal with you. That's
I
what's
told
weird.
you, I've sent emails to the estate because they they're a trust.
Mm-hmm.
So man, once I found out they were a trust, I was like, oop, and they were like, no. They were like, pay me and you could use it. I was like, can I own it? And they were like, no. And I was like, I will kick rocks over here then.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm glad you were able to save it, Alibaba. Oh, okay. That's familiar, vaguely.
What about High C? Not just the rapper, I had a whole High C video video camera. I took it to Mexico with my friends when I was 17. Whenever I watch that video, it's weird to me because I had more facial hair at 17 than I have now.
Going back to what you said about like the old Kodak and stuff. I think that some cameras are iconic because they were so popular.
I've got a lot of things appraised, and I always have that moment of like, wow, this is real. When I found out that I thought a lot of my silver was plated because with my grandma,
Mm.
you never know. I had this huge box of silver. I got it appraised, and the guy was like, dude, guard this. It was like, this is the first time that someone's actually like come to me with real silver. I didn't know, but she had a ton of actual real silver. But I thought so, and even with the paintings, with all the stuff, like they're all worth money, whatever. So when I got to the camera, I was like, Pater, this is an original Kodak A. You can get one right now on Amazon. You can get one like an original Kodak A. But I also have a lot of I have 8mm cameras, just a lot of stuff.
Mm. There's a channel I was started watching with two guys refurbishing and driving around an old Model T, like the old one with no like back or anything on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They're driving around town and they're like, this feels exhilarating and so dangerous.
While going 30 miles. How fast are they going?
Yes.
Because I know you are not I could run faster than a Model T.
Well, I mean, they were workhorses.
My town, we have these really we have a parade every year, and someone in my neighborhood owns a Healy, which is a British tank, but people in my town, they have armies of Model Ts, and they putt along. I hate that part of the parade. I hate that part of the parade. Every year, they come putting along down the street. I don't know enough about cameras and don't want to learn, but the quality is apparent. I like with my new camera, I was shocked on how quality it is. They can run on alcohol. One for you, one for me, huh? I almost want to look into it sometimes. I was telling Waterday last night, my father, he taught photography. Man, I wish I paid attention when he was talking. I have all these complicated cameras, and I'm like, what? Shutter speed? What? Like this or that? Like, it's a whole, it's literally a whole other language. Like anything that you get into, it's a whole different planet.
You see something, f-stop, same to you.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing I like about new digital cameras is that you can mess around with the buttons and you can make mistakes. With the old cameras, it was on film. So every picture you took meant something. Or, it better or it better mean something. The best quality I've ever seen were what is that?
Daguerreotype
Pictures, infinite quality if nothing moves. Oh, is that the kind where they with like the gunpowder thing that goes off?
They were like glass slides, and so
Okay.
you had to be really, really still. Like instead of a film for the negative, it was a glass slide.
I have one of those.
Or was it the picture that was on the slide?
And I have the box. I have the box with I just don't know what it's called. I call it the gunpowder thing, but like
the flash.
I have all of that.
Oh, remember flash cubes?
I do.
Photography back in the day was expensive because first you had the roll of film, and God forbid you didn't like the first 5 shots because your roll had maybe 12 on some of them.
Exactly.
And then the flash cube that had 4 flashes on the cube. I was when I was in Spain, I heard a noise from my backpack, and I realized that my camera that was in there, the roll, I'd only taken a few pictures, and somehow in my backpack the camera rewind button, or like and
Oh,
the
that's the
roll it up
word.
button had gotten hit, and so the whole roll of film was wasted.
Oh, that's the worst.
Film was wasted, and then developing the pictures. And then, oh my goodness, okay, when I was a kid, we were going to move to Australia, and so we had all these pictures taken from when we stopped off in Hawaii on the way, and we had lived in New Zealand for a while, and we had all the pictures. And of course, the negatives were in the same envelope. And my mother took them. She was going to go somewhere to visit a friend, and she took the pictures with her. And when she stopped somewhere, the car was broken into, and the suitcase was stolen, and the photographs were in the suitcase, and we lost all the pictures from the whole trip.
Hey, to anybody who has Waternay's pictures, give them back. You never know. You got to try. You have to try.
Well,
Those. This makes me kind of want to cry because I love when I had issues with mine as well, and I lost it. I had to go buy another one. That's why I own 4 of them. Well, 5
oh
now.
no. Can it be recovered? Or, oh, well, you're having issues. Okay, I hope it sorts itself out.
I lost. If I hadn't double saved my stuff on my other hard drive, I lost basically an entire 6 terabyte thing. I don't know
Oh,
what I did. Still to this day, I don't know what I did. But I triple and double save everything. 10 types from the 1863 Gettysburg. They could clout the files on the oldest person where they fought and lived, where he was sitting on his porch.
wow. Who, Samoan heritage? Who are you asking?
No, I don't. I don't. That reminds me of a Paul Mooney joke I can't say online.
I
Paul
am
Mooney tells an amazing joke.
half English and half African American. Um so I do have a smidge of Native American, but I do not have any Samoan. I have been mistaken for a Maori before. I'm kind of one of those like rent a ethnic. People kind of
You're
look at me and they see what they want to see.
um
So
just because you're on the Wonder Team, you can use that, but I invented that term. I patent pending, patent rent to ethnic. I've been saying that for it's true though. I could slip into all different kind of places.
I was I was supposed to go to Turkey, and then 9/11 happened. And we ended up not going because I was a little concerned about the way I look, and I didn't want to be mistaken for some whatever, because people, as I say, people look at me and they see what they want to see. Like the number of people who come up to me and speak Spanish or think I'm some sort of um, uh, Middle Eastern person or Maori or yeah.
I told you after September 11th, this is where my sarcastic nature like literally almost got me beat up by the National Guard. I when I had my fro, I didn't feel like doing my hair. So I would get a t-shirt and put it on my head and tie the arms. And I was in Arizona at Sky National Airport, and the stewardess was like, the people on the plane feel uncomfortable when you get off the plane. I said, no, I'm not getting off the plane. The National Guard came on the plane. And I knew something was going on because the plane wasn't moving.
Oh
and
goodness.
and the soldier dude asked me, he's like, we're gonna do this the easy way or the hard way. And I looked at him, I said the hard way, and they dragged me out.
Oh, so wrong.
Literally kicked, but I was like 100, let's be real, I was like 180 pounds. So they like picked me up like this and walked me. You remind me of Rock's mother. She had curly hair too and skin tone. There was crazy times after oh, let me make you big. Oh, look at those beautiful people.
That the thing my mom was wearing, I found it in her closet when I was a kid, and I said, "Oh, what pants did you wear with this shirt?" And my mom looked rather sheepish and she said, "It's a dress." It's this amazing crushed silk velvet, and it's like Brady Bunch short. But yeah, I had my DNA tested, and when I was, looking at they tell you, oh, these people you're related to, and these people you're related to. I had very distinct dividing line, and my mother's side of the family is English, like hundreds of years going back, like English. So there's a very distinct look to one side of my family tree.
That's why you get on me when I start trashing the UK.
I have to defend my people.
I
But
can't believe I fit this table in here.
I love that photo of my parents. So any excuse to share it. Nobody asked, but I had to share it anyway.
Well, we are all show and tell here in the house of Zoe. Oh. I can't believe I can actually fit this table in here.
Woohoo! I heard you tucked some things behind Master Chief. I was doing some tidying and I put some broken sewing machine cases in my garage today.
Master Chief has all the antique tables that those are actually worth more than the sewing machines they're sitting on. It's funny how stuff like that works out. How the stupid table's worth more than the machine.
Yeah, sometimes. My neighbor's friend had, I think I told you all about this because I ended up just buying the accessories. But she had a table and somebody had they had tried to do something to it, and it was, I don't know, it was like bad 1990s DIY, like paint swipe things. And I'm like, well, this was a nice machine. This was worth a lot. It would take hours to make it worth a lot again. Thank you, but no thank you.
I'm gonna switch the subject because I just got reminded of something. Was there a movie that you were obsessed with in your youth or just in general? Like we'll say 25 and under.
I don't know. It's hard. I mean, like, there's stuff that I really like, but I don't know that obsessed with is like the right term.
Or a movie that you watched a bunch.
Let's see. I really liked The Last Unicorn back in the day, but I haven't watched it in ages. And then Labyrinth was always a favorite. And then when I was a little bit older, Bend It Like Beckham, my friend and I saw that one a whole bunch.
I still have not seen that movie.
Oh, you're missing out. It's delightful.
I was obsessed with it's really funny, Dose. When I lived in Portland, Return of the Jedi was the movie I'd fall asleep to every night. I love all three of the original movies. I was obsessed with Major League, the movie with Charlie Sheen, with Corbin Burnson, Wesley Snipes was in the original. And I always, every year, like besides a Dodger hat, I'd buy a Cleveland Indians hat. But like, let's be real. The image is a bit,
Yeah.
My son's high school, there's this big controversy in my town right now because they're renaming they're no longer going to be the Indians, and they have been since the 50s. It's not the 50s anymore.
Yeah.
So the Cleveland Indians are now the Cleveland Guardians. And I bought a hat today.
Ah.
It's not, it's so funny. I walked in wearing an Ohio My son wanted white shirts. It's a big long story, but there's this place in my town. They sell every kind of hat you can think of, every kind of jersey. It's when I walk in, I tell myself, don't buy a Kings jersey. Do not buy a Dodger jersey. Do not buy a Clippers jersey. But I always end up buying a hat. And I bought an Indian. Oh, I'm sorry, a Guardian hat. But it's a
Uh,
Cleveland hat.
all right.
And it's been a while.
Goonies, such a good
It,
movie, those. So, what's their mascot now? A big
they're
C?
the Guardians. They just walk around like this. It's better
But
than the Redskins are now called the Commanders, which is like for a football team, like that sounds like a Russell Crowe movie. Oh, we're all Goonies here, Dose. We're all Goonies. I love that movie. That you know what's so funny? That was a movie I would obsessively watch on VHS all the time as a kid, over and over, over and over.
Lost
But
Boys.
obsessively, I told you, I dress like I'm in, like I'm a familiar.
See, a lot of these movies I haven't seen like since back in the day, though. I should rewatch.
Major League was my movie. That was like, and I had a good friend. It's so hardcore. A friend of mine, we even and any time the Indians would come to town, we'd go watch them. We would drive all the way to Anaheim to go see them. People thought we were from Cleveland because we would show up wearing Angels gear. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, who are these fools like that are cheering for not the Angels, you know? I heard they're gonna oh no. Hold on, let me let out my Klingon
Oh,
death scream.
okay, all right.
No. No, I
Some
lost my voice last week. I
some
won't do it.
movies you can remake. Other things are either too recent or there's just the thing that made them good. It was just like a magic of everything coming together. And you can't remake that. You can't capture that because it wasn't like, oh, this was good because everyone liked the story or, like mm, boo.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, some of it was filmed in my hometown. That bicycle scene, it's a very famous thing in my town. Like half the town watched. He went up one side of the road. He literally turned around and went down the other side of the road to make it look like he's going further. Oh, my surgery just gave out.
Yeah, Rashawn, I agree. Rashawn says, I don't want to cycle the same movies with different casts every 10 to 13 years. Yeah. I just saw that they're redoing The Fall Guy for whatever channel it is. And I feel like, come on now. Surely you can come up with your own interesting TV series and plot and
Ouch, ouch, ouch. I said this. You know what's so sad? Because I grew up with extremely older parents, when they redid the Poseidon Adventure in the 90s, I was like, Hollywood's ran out of ideas. I spotted it from the jump. I was like, wait a minute. Because they started harvesting movies because they thought that, like, well, if I harvest this movie from the 40s, like these people really aren't around anymore, you know? Well, their children and grandchildren were. I'm over it. I agree with Rashawn as well.
yeah, the cast. There was just this magic that came together. You can't recapture that. Yes.
Thank you. You know, this I ran into this being online because I would watch the same stuff over and over. I started looking into African history. I started looking in, and it opened up this whole other world. I started looking into Southeast Asian history, people I've never heard of. There's so many stories that aren't told. So many stories that aren't told.
And I think that the whoever powers that be, they're just afraid to try something. And then it's like, but look at what can happen when you do, like I was thinking about when you mentioned stories from around the world and stuff, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. If you had tried to sell that to one of the studios nowadays, they'd be like, what? It's not even in English. What are you doing?
I
But
loved
people
that
went to that
movie. I loved that
shows.
movie.
Mm. So I'll be right back.
All right. You know what, Dose? You know what's really funny? The color purple I there was all the scenes I wanted to see, but I really didn't like Roadhouse. I really like maybe like I said earlier on Rashawn's stream, maybe I'm just old and judgmental, but Conor McGregor didn't do it for me. Maybe it's because I watch way too much YouTube and he's like he fronts too much. Like he's always doing too much on YouTube. So maybe that's what it was. I don't know. If they weren't going for the money, Roadhouse could have been named anything. Down on his luck, guy defenseless group is common. So true. I think that's what bothers me more than anything else. Like you were saying, they're riding on the coattails of this movie because they know that you're going to go see it. It's happened to me with Star Trek. And the funny thing is, I'm obsessed with Star Trek, and there's stuff that I kind of don't even like, but I watch it because it says Star Trek on it. I like the original Roadhouse. I saw Jeffrey Healy Roadhouse's band before he made it big. And you know what the sad thing is? A lot of people are going to think that these movies are the originals. They're going to think that these people are the Patrick Swayze. And I guess it happens in music. A lot of the stuff that I love are remakes. Like Jimi Hendrix' Hey Joe is one of my favorite songs. It's a complete remake. Utter and complete remake, Jeff Healy blew me away. He could play so much like Hendrix. That's crazy. I had a friend like that. He was a ripper on the guitar. It was unreal. But I have a question. Are there any remakes that you guys liked? I am watching the original Battlestar Galactica right now. I loved the late 90s and the early 2000s. Well, they didn't finish it until like 2010, but like I loved the Battlestar Galactica reboot. There are people that will fight you over that. There was a lot of things that I liked, but a lot of them are just terrible because they're not trying. They're riding on the coattails of the memories that we have. They could have called it the last bar on the Highway 89. And I would have watched the Roadhouse. I would have watched the Roadhouse like it was the same. Like my niece thought The Weekend made keep it on the down low. See, that bothers me. I don't even know why that bothers me until she met R. Kelly. I have no idea why that bothers me. And I agree with you, Rashawn. And I think that's part of the problem too, is that they're only going for your nostalgia. Even when they created Paramount Plus, I had someone I absolutely love and respect. They were like, they got you because they knew I was going to subscribe to Paramount Plus because they own all of Star Trek. I waffle back and forth because I had this huge moral thing of like, I'm over remakes, but there are certain things I'll watch. There was a Paul Walker movie. Oh, what was it called? I loved it. He was redoing a Frank Sinatra movie. I can't remember the name of it. I have to look it up now. That's gonna bother me. But I loved that movie. I absolutely loved that movie. Oh, now I have to look it up. Paul Walker movies. I do like franchises like Star Trek, but the remakes are never the same. I can accept offshoots like Discovery because it's a universe, but not a remake. Very true. That's true. Discovery had the ability to be able to branch out. I like Strange New Worlds, but they make it I don't know. They have this weird blueprint they have to stick to. I agree. I agree with that. Oh, what was the name of that movie? Oh, it's gonna bother me now. Oh, Timeline was such a good movie. But he redid this Frank Sinatra movie, and it was such a good movie. I like the remakes of Ocean 11. Wow. Do you know? Okay. I'm biased towards that era. I did not like the remakes, but like, you know, it's so funny. There's certain things I will not watch because I think they're exploiting people, but I'll watch a Sammy Davis movie. I'm obsessed with Sammy Davis Jr. So I loved the originals. I think that's the only one though. I'm like 50-50 on the Ocean's 11 remakes because like I said, Sammy was my dude. Have you watched the Star Trek cartoons? I cried when I found out they were gonna get rid of Lower Decks. Oh, I didn't cry. I was just like, why?
You played taps, you'll be okay.
Do you know what's funny? I went back and watched the 1970s cartoon. I've watched every single season. How's it going, kids?
Hey,
I've watched
Skids.
every single season. Those, it's so sad. Those are better than the stuff that's on nowadays. Oh, that's gonna bother me. What movie was that? Was it Taker? No, it wasn't Takers. He redid a Frank Sinatra movie. Oh, Running Scared. Paul Walker redid Running Scared. I loved that movie. And that was originally a Frank Sinatra movie.
I think that if you're doing something that's like making a movie from some classic literature or something, then I have less of an issue with remakes. But you raised a good point a couple minutes ago when you said that it makes a big difference when they're just riding on the fame of the other thing, and you can tell when they're not trying. Like when they're not trying to actually make something like new and good and innovative, they're just redoing it because
I wanted to like Roadhouse, and I don't even like Conor McGregor. And like, I sat there with my son, and I was like, I'm watching this because my son wants to watch this. But like Rashawn was saying, like they could have called it anything but Roadhouse. It was just Guy Defense Bar, you know. And I think that's part of the problem with this. Like you said, they don't. I don't know. I don't like using the word lazy, but do you think it's they're just nonchalant with it? They expect us just to go run and flock to it because of the name.
it's hard because I think that like if you're talking on like an individual basis, like I think that the lighting people worked really hard and the individual actors tried to do a good performance and stuff like that. But like there's something like it doesn't come together. It's and I think that sometimes stuff will come down from on high and they'll, almost like don't waste time with that, or they're not trying to putting a lot into hiring the best people for this and that. It's like a dilution of what could be an excellent final product. And I don't think that that's necessarily the problem of the individuals involved, if that makes sense.
Remakes should have a rule set. Must either wait 40 years or the characters must be an icon like James Bond, Superman, or revisioning.
Mm,
The Magnificent Seven was okay with Denzel. I want to watch the original. Okay. Have you seen the Magnificent Seven, the original?
I haven't seen either of them.
You answered my question. I own both. Of course, I talk about this all the time. I was raised by people who were 40 years older than me. I grew up watching black and whites. I I I was obsessed with 310 to Yuma. I didn't like the Christian Bale version.
Hmm.
If they make the Lion King but make it a different animal that pretends to be Simba, it's the Lion King. Take a different angle or wait 40 years.
Well, okay, The Lion King was heavily inspired by Hamlet. So what's your thought on something like that?
I'm still mad at Duncan and the Gates. You want to have that conversation? We can.
Duncan and the Gates?
No, I think no. Is that Hamlet? Yeah, it's Hamlet. Oh well, it's a Battlestar Galactica reference. There's a guy.
Oh,
It's where
sorry. I haven't
they're
gotten to
they're
Battlestar Galactica yet. I'm almost done with Enterprise.
they're discussing English literature. I've only seen the original. I'm obsessed. See, but I think that's part of the problem, is because I'm connected with the older world. I consider it more authentic if you've seen the original. Like most people don't even know that Paul Walker movie was a Frank Sinatra movie.
Mm.
But doing 2 sets of Men in Black Ghostbusters within 5 years, I haven't seen any of the Men in Black remakes, and I was obsessed with the Will Smith movies. I haven't seen one. I haven't even seen the latest. Well, no, I saw the one with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, but I haven't seen the one after that.
Mm.
Ghostbusters would be better with a rated R rating. I only saw the one with Megan McCarthy just because it caused so much controversy. I didn't understand why. So I
They
watched it.
they that was just, sexism and misogyny at its finest. There was nothing wrong with that movie.
I liked it. I own it. It's in, it's part of the collection. I
Mhm.
don't have a problem with it.
Mhm.
I'm okay with adapting a classic story trope, but don't call it Hamlet 10 years after a different Hamlet unless you use pigs. They should have went a more serious way as a change. I agree. I agree with the Ghostbusters. I agree. I kind of want to see the remake, but again, just like when I saw the Netflix commercial with Eddie Murphy wearing the Detroit Lions jacket and I saw Judd Nelson in the car, I was like, shut up and take my money. That's where they get you, though. It was all nostalgia.
It's difficult with something like that because I think that if it's like a fine balance because you have to make it unique enough, otherwise why are you bothering? But then if you stray too far from the original, then it's like why not just make your own thing? It's a fine line. I think that
Do you think it's okay to wait? Like, I have to look it up because I looked it up last time. But when the third Beverly Hills Cop came out, it was like 94, 95. Oh, hold on. My thing's going to dox me. Oh, never mind. Alexa, do you have a notification? Alexa? It almost doxed me again. The thing is way too specific. It says exactly where I live. That's not okay.
there should be a like streaming mode or something. Like meeting mode or don't dox me mode.
That's evil. And it turns on because, like, sometimes it'll talk to me. And I just say yes. And then I try to turn off the feature and it doesn't. Ghostbusters Horror would have been interesting. I think also, though, they wait too long with these remakes. Like, are you going to go see Beetlejuice?
Probably. I was never like a crazy Beetlejuice fan like some people were. So, I mean, I'm interested in seeing it, but I'm not like all amped up about it.
I knew somebody who played Beetlejuice, was one of the many Beetlejuices at Universal Studios.
Ah,
Not a chance for me. When I saw the commercial, it kind of gave me the same feeling that the Beverly Hills Cop did. I was like, wow, do I have the emotional space for this? I think the Chucky series works. I was obsessed with Chucky when I was a kid. It's also because my brother worked for what was called MCA Universal at the time. So we got all the movies for free.
ah.
Matter of fact, I still have a bunch of VHSs where you're watching and randomly it'll pop up and say, "This is property of MCA Universal."
Piracy is a crime.
As you're literally being a pirate and watching it. The reason I think the 40-year gap would work is because technology might allow for a better execution of certain types of film.
Sometimes. I think though that sometimes see, sometimes we we get so enamored by the new and shiny that we abandon some things that worked really well or that would work well in conjunction with the new and shiny.
I'm going to, oh, why did I do that? I'm going to show, Skits just sent a video of, I believe, is beautiful Northern California.
Ah.
New Dune looks amazing, but didn't improve storytelling. Truth be told, I'm so biased because of the old Dune. I haven't seen 1 minute of the new. I haven't. Usually, I'll hype myself up by watching mini clips on YouTube. Haven't watched one.
Huh.
Because I'm so biased towards the original. Yeah, I'm a dinosaur. I still want some of my classic movies with CGI, like Nightmare on Elm Street would be good with effects, but we will always see the original. You know what's so funny? Like, that movie induced fear out of me, and it was bad graphics. Hellraiser, when I was a kid, like, Hellraiser scared me. I go back and watch it now and laugh. Pinhead is cheesy compared to the stuff. I'm telling you, my mom watches the most morbid stuff. I walked in her house yesterday. On her TV, she's watching a movie, and a woman was talking to her sleep paralysis demon. And I'm like, this is. I was like, I looked at her. I was like, how can you watch this stuff and be alone? I can't watch that stuff. But it was so real because the thing kind of it was too real. But it was because we have modern technology, you know.
Mm.
Oh, it was bad. I was obsessed with Gremlins too. Robert Picardo is in Gremlins, and every year there's a certain day where he celebrates the day he made out with a gremlin.
Evil's a good show. I think it's intentionally funny. I don't think
That's exactly what my mom was watching, I think.
Oh.
I think that's exactly what she was watching.
I like that show. What is it you think is unintentionally funny? Because I think it's trying to be funny, but maybe you were laughing at something that wasn't supposed to be funny.
You know, I got in trouble during the whole Blair Witch saga. People didn't realize that some people are desensitized. And I went and saw it with a group of friends, and I started laughing during the movie. And it almost started a fight. If I wasn't with my friends, like, somebody would have come at me, but like, they thought it was inappropriate that I was laughing. But that's my Ned Flanders diddly. That's my terror response, is laughing. It's sad, but like, that's my response. Like, if I'm in a certain situation, I'm just like, ha, ha, ha. It's my like knee jerk. It's inappropriate. I love George. Not the human centipede. I'm not gonna sleep tonight, Dose. No. Oh, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. The sleep paralysis demons, I don't think that they want them laugh out loud funny, but a quirk to take the edge off. But I love them. Like, they're adorable. I had hardcore sleep paralysis as a kid, and I still to this day don't know why it went away. I would wake up stuck all the time. And so I was traumatized. Traumatized. My surgeon stopped surging. That's why I'm sitting here and we're going to visit. I'm not even going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you, surgeon. It just hates this project. But I'm going to do it old school and finish it on my sewing machine. I can't believe, my mom watches the crazy. She's more hip and more up on all the modern stuff. All the time she's like, hey, what's the Netflix code? What's the CBS code? Like, I'm glad because I'm paying for all these services that no one really watches,
Yeah.
So I'm glad that someone's utilizing it, for and if you think about it, I never cut the cord, so I still have cable. I have Netflix, Paramount Plus, Hulu, what else? A bunch of other stuff I can't remember. Oh, ESPN Plus because I pay to watch sports now. Because if I want to watch out of town stuff, it's on their website now on any sport, The services are out of control. They are. It's crazy. That's why I miss old school Netflix when everything was on it.
Yeah. Well, for a while there, I remember when CBS first started, and it was so frustrating because it was like the worst of every option. It was.
You don't like Perry Mason, the original?
It was streaming, so you had to log in. You couldn't just watch the thing, and then which because it was its own like separate app. It was a problem. But anyway, so then they charged you for it, but they also only released it one episode at a time. So it's like it's supposed to be streaming so you can watch it, but they're like, no, we're going to hold this one at a time. And then instead of it was just everything was just the worst part of it. And I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to be. That was when the new Star Trek came out. And I'm like, oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm muted. Do you know I went full Karen that first night because they showed the first episode was on CBS, and then if you pay for Paramount Plus, you could watch the other half. And it was the same. I had the same problem.
Yeah, it was like, okay, well, I have to go here separately to watch it. It's not on the other streaming services. It's on its own separate thing. That was the problem. And then you had to pay for it. And then it also, which, fine. But it was like, that was the only thing they had. And then the once a week with the episodes. And I'm like, we're not getting the benefits from any of these options. We're getting the worst of them. We're the worst of all of the options. Paying $5 for Disney's Hulu, $6 for HBO, free Paramount through Walmart, and $1 Peacock. How are you getting free Paramount through Walmart, and how is your Peacock only $1? See, that's
for real. I need that because I pay like, what is it, $15 for Netflix. I pay, and you know what? They're still charging me on different devices. I guarantee if I looked at my card, Paramount is probably charging me like $14 per device. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
Ad support. That was it. It also had ads. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
No, I do the same thing for what's really funny? I have ads on Paramount and I watch a lot of their old stuff. Again, I was raised by dinosaurs. I watch the original Perry Mason. They don't put ads on that. I watch MacGyver. They don't put ads on MacGyver, on the original MacGyver at least. I will never watch the remake of the other MacGyver, by the way, ever. Even if you paid me. Maybe if you paid me. Right. But it's a thing where you don't know yourself until you cross that path. It's been years. I've never clicked on that show. And I'm obsessed with the original MacGyver. Wow, hearing this, I'm glad I gave up TV.
I like a good
Ollie,
story though.
it's my obsession with sports. And they've privatized sports now. I have to pay to cross the border into Canada basically to watch hockey now. That's why I know so much about the Leafs and the Canadiens, because I watch it because I pay for it. Yep, I just divorced Netflix after 10 years. You know what's funny, Dose? If it wasn't for my mom, I would have got rid of it. But she watches all that, like, if it's Victorian, if they're English or vampires or some creepy stuff, she's watching it. Walmart has free Paramount. I got Peacock on Black Friday. There's always a $1 deal. Man, I'm gonna revamp everything. No new Hawaii 5 or MacGyver. I forgot about the new Hawaii 5. I'm obsessed with the old one too. I still watch it on TV.
I tried to watch the new one and I couldn't. I was frustrated with the people. I couldn't get into it.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I watched the first like 2 episodes, I think, of Quantum Leap, but they were only coming out one at a time because it was concurrently on live TV. So I was waiting for it to be bingeable, and then I didn't get to
stupid
it.
question. I have
What?
in the back. I have a stupid question.
There are no stupid questions.
They redid Quantum Leap.
They did.
Ben Cisco face. I did not know that. I did not. I live in a cave and I come out 3 times a week.
And I just saw that they're redoing Fall Guy.
Why?
Mhm.
Okay, then if we're redoing stuff, I have a list. I got Peacock for 5, Hulu, Disney, ESPN for 6, Max for free through phone, Stars for 9, and YouTube Premium. I have a question. Is YouTube Premium worth it?
Yes. Absolutely.
I obsessively watch YouTube.
I didn't do like YouTube TV or whatever. That's really expensive. But let me tell you, it's $12 a month or something like that to not have ads on YouTube. It is so worth it. It's a lot. They overcharge, but it's worth it. So.
I don't know what I would be able to do with myself if I didn't have those annoying ads on. You know what, Rashawn? I might give it a try. I'm that guy who's like, get off my lawn, and then I'm like, oh, this might be a good show. I'm just anti-remakes. It has a lot of heart. That's what saved it. Lots of touching speeches and moments in Quantum Leap. That's why I loved the original so much. In the past 2 weeks, I've stopped myself from buying Airwolf and which one, Knight Rider, and I almost bought the entire series of Quantum Leap yesterday, and I was like, stop.
Yeah,
Fall Guy will never be the same without Lee Majors or Heather Thomas. Absolutely. Heather Thomas had the best truck.
I mean, you buy what you want, but like if you're asking for my opinion, I don't think you should necessarily buy Airwolf because you didn't love it, but Quantum Leap you really loved, and I think you should buy that. The same like you did with Babylon 5 or Battlestar Galactica, whichever one was the one you just bought recently.
And WKRP, but I was home a lot as a kid, and they would re-show Good Times, WKRP. So all the stuff from the 70s they'd show in the late 80s,
Mm-hmm.
So I have a weird connection with all of those 70s shows because they were on TV all the time.
But if you love it, get it.
I obsessively watch YouTube, and sometimes the ads are frustrating. because I want to
So
watch a
frustrating.
30-second video and they'll make me watch 2 minutes of ads.
Or then ads in the middle of stuff, and well, see, that's the whole reason why I got streaming services. And even back in the day, I would record things on the VCR, and then my VCR had like a commercial skip button.
Oh, wow.
So I have never been ads have never been something I wish to put up with.
You know what's funny? I'm in a show hole. That's why I keep on buying these series, because they're familiar to me and I know they're going to be good. But I
Mm-hmm.
do need a new show. So I'll look up. I'll be here for a little bit longer, Alibaba. I'm definitely going to look up Quantum Leap. I'm in this weird, like, I don't know. I'm over all the gossip shows. I can't even watch them anymore. I'm
I
just over
recommended
it.
two or three for you to try.
I've subscribed to every channel you've told me to.
No, I mean two or three like TV shows. Can't remember what they were now off the top of my head, but they'll come back to me. You should
And then
watch
it's just
Evil.
that
What?
it's so funny. And now that was like, I'm gonna have to catch up apparently because everyone watches that show, my mother included.
Oh, Timeless. That was another one. I
I
think
think
you
she
would like
watches that
Timeless.
too.
The Orville.
I almost bought that, but I decided to buy the hat instead. I have to limit myself. The problem with the Orville is that they don't have bundles. Like when I'm buying stuff, I'm buying the complete series.
Well, I think
But
they have season 1 and 2, but season 3 doesn't seem to be out yet on physical media.
I've been looking because that is something I would definitely get into. I didn't watch it because Discovery came out. And let's be real, Discovery had, like, I watched the first episode of Orville. And then I meant to Kuvma. I literally have a Klingon Maktajaj thing behind me years later. You couldn't keep me on the farm when I met the Klingons that everybody hated. I loved those Klingons. I was going to ask which shows. The Orville was good. I don't think last season held me. Did it jump the shark? Like, what happens is shows will get famous and they start getting lax.
No, I don't think it was that, but like some shows have better seasons than others. But I think part of the problem was the plague happened, and then McFarlane was trying to separate himself from Fox, and so there was all of this stuff that I think interrupted the flow and momentum of things. So
It got extremely serious. There were cataclysmic events. The fun fell away. See, that's the thing. Like, there are certain shows I watch because they're so dry. You need a cup of water with them, and I know they're going to be dry. But if something starts off funny, like even in Babylon 5, it's an extremely serious show, but they never stop cracking jokes. They make fun of everything themselves. They're constantly pointing out that life isn't just being serious all the time. It's not about putting out fires every week.
yeah. Well, I think something like when you have something that's comedic and serious, sometimes it's a little hard to find the balance.
Well, it's also standards change as well. Things that were funny 25 years ago would be considered offensive by today's standards. And sometimes I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Do you think self-censorship has changed television? And keep in mind, I'm on the side of, like, if you hurt my feelings, I like, as far as being a sovereign American, I have the right to change the channel, walk away, And I'm not saying I'm here to offend anyone, or do I go looking for it? But where's that line?
Yeah, I think that's I think that we're trying to figure things out still, because and I think that in some ways our sense of humor has kind of borne the brunt of it. But it, because I think that we've talked about before about how like certain things back in the day were not racist then, even though we might consider something to be racist now. And
Which would get
then
you in the HR office, and you'd be handcuffed to a chair.
but and like I think that in some ways we're oversensitive, but I think that in a lot of ways too, and it's a good thing that we're not putting up with a lot of the stereotyping or the casual racism and misogyny. But the trouble is, a lot of that is still coming through, and you don't want to be the PC police. um but there's a difference between like something that's genuinely funny and something where people are relying on like lazy tropes to. So I don't know.
Do you think Blazing Saddles would be able to be made today?
I have never seen Blazing Saddles, so I couldn't.
What? I like the push pull of society wrestling with what is useful, even in jest. A long time ago, there was this guy named Marion Barry. He was the mayor of DC. He was a extremely controversial human being. He was a pirate in real life, but he held the Constitution. He literally had the mind of a lawyer. If you came to Washington, D.C., whatever you were protesting, he would have the police protect you. He understood what America was about, and most of it was people he didn't even agree with.
Yeah. And I think too, sometimes we use
I knew you were going to bring that up, Rashawn. I knew you were going to bring that.
we use humor as a way of poking at social issues and a way of shining a light on things that need to be talked about. And I think sometimes we forget that that's what we're trying to do with these things.
He was crazy, but he upheld the Constitution. Maybe you have to be crazy to uphold the Constitution. He understood what America was about, and no matter what, awful people. In the 90s, they would have some of the worst protests in front of the White House. The cops were protecting everybody.
Yeah.
No matter what. And now, you would never get that now.
I stand by people's right to say things, but I think that a lot of times nowadays people expect to be able to say those things with no pushback, and that's not what it's about.
Okay, but what about me being at the grocery store by myself and someone not liking one of my vests? Do they have the right to tell me that they don't like my clothes?
I mean, there's a difference between them having the right to do something and should that person do something. It's like if they don't like your clothes, they can go somewhere else that's not around you. Or I suppose they have the right to say, I don't like your clothes, and you can say, so what, go away. Like
this this vest in the middle here on the back, it has a patch that says "We believe in lies," and that stupid patch started more fights than I ever thought it would. Because it's a cross and it says "We believe in lies" written around it. And sometimes a brother's just going to the store to get some milk. I like extra sharp cheese, and if I run out, I go to the store and get more.
Well, I mean, if you're going to wear a vest like that, then you have to expect some conversations. So
there's a difference between having a conversation and some guy screaming Romans chapter 1 at you. There's a big difference. And it happened in real life. And even this other guy was like, what's wrong with him? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. And I just stood there and turned my back and was like, oh man, that actually happened in line. It did.
People need
when
to
done well, it's useful. When done poorly, I want us to be able to walk away. When done maliciously, I want us to be able to speak to it. I agree. But
Yeah.
where's that? Like, there has to be a line where we could have a conversation without, like that guy who didn't like my vest. I see things all the time. I'm not a San Francisco Giant fan. Whenever I see someone wearing a San Francisco Giant hat, I'm like, do you know where you are? But I don't say anything because it's a stupid sports rivalry, you know. It's not anything that's worth. That's not anything that's important. But around here, everyone wears LA. Like even baseball fans. Like unless you're from that place, most, no one would wear a Giants hat around here. They should be adult enough to move along, but they are speaking silently. They should be able to say something respectfully. I agree with that.
Where
I'm. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that's where a lot of it breaks down. People don't know how to have a discussion about something they don't agree with.
Yay! Hello, Joy. Coffee break. Hello, and thank you for the shout out. Scissors just brought another one. Make me feel better because I own quite a few pair of scissors. Little ones, long ones, stubby ones. I have really big hands, so when I find a good pair of scissors, I keep on. I hold on to them.
So
Yay.
comfy.
Joy's working hard. Joy is the real sewist.
Mm.
I'm over here being David Blaine, putting myself in a box and sewing for 2 weeks. You know what? I should do that. Do you think if I rented a box? I don't have
Oh,
time like
good.
that though. I don't have time like that, and I'm hardcore on hygiene. Never
Mm.
move. I'll move
Mm.
along. I'll move along.
Yeah.
Steve O went to jail when he climbed the KTLA 5 tower with an inflatable whale.
Well, the jackass people are not people to emulate.
No, but David Blaine became rich for putting himself in a box and it's setting himself above Times Square.
Yeah, that's not.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know, if I was to sit down and sew for real with interfacing, lining, everything, it would take me a good couple of hours, like a full day. So if you put me in front of a building, I could be there for a good 8 hours sewing. I would take a bunch of breaks though.
Well, see, that's a different, putting you in the front of a building as a sort of an art installation about making art. That I could get behind. Locking yourself in a glass cube. No. I don't watch David Blaine do that. But also, there's a lot of it's a combination of behind the scenes tricks and special training and all of these things.
Special training to sit in a box?
Well, you have to like meditation and body regulation and
Have
and
you
then
ever
also
sat
it's
outside? Have you ever been to a day game at Dodger Stadium? When there's 90-degree heat just beating down, you're like, why am I sitting? Why am I not sitting in the pavilion? And you're being safe. That's meditation.
why did I cheap out on these seats with no sunshade?
Actually, those are the good seats. They're great for night games. They're amazing. Like Dodger Stadium is the best for night games. Day games, you better bring some shade. Bring an umbrella. I've learned the hard way, and where the Angels played too. On a day game, it's amazing how nobody wants to sit in the front row.
So, not to change the subject, but what scissors did you get, Joy?
Oh, should I tell my story about how I actually pulled a Karen on a Karen at Walmart?
Yes.
So I had to get medication, and I went to the one Walmart I've been boycotting for months. So I had to go there. I went there, and it just so happened that I needed coffee filters. So I literally had not had a cup of coffee. It was early in the morning. I went and got my prescription. I went and got the coffee filters. I'm standing in line. This woman, the cashier, was taking forever. Okay, so the people that were two people in front of me, they took care of their problem. They're gone. Now the man in front of me, who actually looked really nice and kind, um, just went in prejudgment. I am. Oh, totally. Without coffee, I am the real life Terminator. And so I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, I'm almost there. Because the Walmart, this particular Walmart is literally 4 minutes from my house. So I can smell the coffee. The cashier asks the guy, would you like bags? He looks at the cashier and says, did I tell you I wanted bags? And I was like, what? And she was like, what? Oh, my internet's getting choppy. Always at the good part.
It was.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Here, I'll do
Oh,
this
that
while my
was clear
internet
for
is
a
starting.
second.
Huh?
That was clear, I think. Try again.
No, it's still saying that it's choppy. I'll wait
Oh,
a second. Let's read Joy's comment.
okay. I got them in the makeup department, small and spring action. Ooh, I think they're trimming eyebrows and great for clipping thread ends. Very nice. Wow. I have some spring
Hey.
loaded dressmaker shears. They're amazing.
So, long story short, he was literally trying to fight the cashier. He was being rude. And I looked at him and I was like, you know what? And I can't believe I said this, but this was pre-coffee. It came out no filter. I looked at him and I was like, you're the reason why the world sucks. You could have just been nice. You could have just been nice. And my internet's bad again. And then he was kind of shocked. He didn't say anything because he was like, he sized me up. He didn't say a word after that. He paid for his stuff. And as he was leaving, people were walking up to me and they were thanking me for correcting this guy. So I
Yeah.
went Karen on a Karen because this guy was trying to fight someone for doing their job and asking them if he wanted a bag. And you know what's funny? Fighting takes more effort. It's more words. Like if you were upset with something, if you were silent, that transaction would have been less than a minute.
And so
You
uncalled
know?
for. You know, they say, did you want bags? You say, no, thank you. See how easy that was?
And this guy's out here fighting people, and I'm like, man, I'm just trying to make it home, dude. Like, you get
Yeah.
too loud where I live, they'll call the cops on you.
Mm, so
So,
unnecessary.
and it was I'm there has to be a line where we draw in society where we check people, and it's like, dude, like all of this is so unnecessary that like your day would have been so much better. There are times where I get frustrated. You know what I do? I go gray rock and I just do not say a word.
Mm,
Especially in line. We spend most of our life in line, you know.
mm.
I Karen to Karen though.
Good for
So
you.
I'm thinking about making a cape because I've been watching the original Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, yeah, you were saying that
And
earlier. I suggested gold braid.
oh, I need to go downtown. That the pad shop on Second Street or whatever it was. You know what's so funny? It's not Second Street. I'm thinking of Second Street Records in Portland. The pad shop that I used to always go to, they sell every kind of applique you could possibly think of.
Huh.
That's where I got all the accents for my purple cape that is buried that you can't even see. But like all the gold trim around my purple cape came from that place.
Ooh. The
And they
leaves?
sell yes, and they sell both sides. Like so if you get a left, they have a left and a right. So it you
Okay.
know, it fits perfect on both sides. It's a professional shop. Like they have everything. You can make a full Letterman jacket from what they have. Like, you know.
Nice.
Is that where you get the rose apple? Yes. Yes. And I've bought so many that I still have probably 15 or 20 of them.
Ooh, those were nice.
You know what Sorry, I was about to. Oh, my internet is just choppy this evening.
And mine's been fine the whole time,
Spectrum.
as far as I know.
You are the shining star of this evening.
Woohoo!
They do. They have really nice stuff there. And the funny thing is they have all the professional equipment. So what they do they have left-handed screwdrivers?
It's by the
As
elbow
someone
grease.
as someone who is left-handed, all screwdrivers are left-handed screwdrivers. Oh, I really confuse people because I'm ambidextrous and they're like, weren't you just using your right hand? And I'm like, well, it's a better angle.
You say blame school.
I can't
I'm
believe that's
forced into
weird
it.
to you. That's weird to you. They corrected, and I know I'm not the only one. Yeah, I brought that up to my mom, and she's like, "Yeah, we just did that." I'm like, "That's barbaric."
Yeah, but I mean, they had stopped doing that when I was in school, and so I'm just shocked that they were still doing that when you were in school.
Oh yeah, and they would single you out too. And they found because I learned I played the violin, and that's how they found out that I was left-handed. Because they're like, "Oh, you should hold it with your right hand." I'm like, "No, like this just sounds better." And now to me, it's weird that they didn't know how to teach someone how to play the violin left-handed.
Well, they tend not to do that because if you're ever going to be in an orchestra, you need to be facing the same way and playing at the same time. And
I
they
was
have
in
all
the
this stuff
fourth.
about your bowing and everything so that it's all in sync.
I was in the fourth grade.
Yeah, but
wasn't.
yeah, but you might have grown up to be a famous violinist.
No, but I can play a fiddle like Charlie Daniels. I get down. Like on the hillbilly stuff, I can get down. You know what it is, Joy, is StreamYards has these weird bars, and it tells you if your internet's getting weird.
Oh,
And so,
I don't have that.
because your internet's perfect this evening.
Well, but I don't even have oh, whatever. Here, look at my new light switch. I got this on Amazon because I had wanted toggle switches. I have some of like the push button ones in my house. So this one, I got this for the bathroom. So it's 3, one for the vanity light, one for the fan and shower light, and then one for the overhead light. And then it comes with this nice metal switch plate. And so after I install it, it has other little brass washers that go on the front. I'm very excited. Oh, and listen to this. It's so satisfying.
Oh, you remind me of people I know. I know someone who was obsessed with those. Could you imagine one kid in the 4th grade playing left-handed and a pack of 30 of them all at once?
Crashing into each other with your bows.
And the funny thing is, it didn't catch because I'm extremely left-handed still. I saw those yesterday. Those are awesome. They are. I think I talk about this all the time. I inherited my father's truck. He has well, on my truck now, there's 2 covered toggle switches. I've never flipped them. I've never flipped them.
Have you looked under the hood? Is it connected to like nitrous or something?
He was an engineer. That's one of the reasons I don't want to get rid of that thing, is because it was so intricate. Oh, my internet is just not okay this evening.
Well, you're good now. Run with it.
One for the ejector seat.
I mean, I don't know. We've heard about his dad. He might have an ejection seat in his
We call
truck.
you Agent. I would laugh if, like, I flipped that switch and like their whole screen changed or something, and it was like the real Knight Rider. I would laugh. Get Smart Mobile. But I had a actual train horn on
Oh
the truck.
goodness.
Every time I hit it, people would jump. There, there was somebody who threw a full 32-ounce soda at my truck because they were so mad at me. Don't cut in front of me. I won't make you jump.
Uh,
I love that
jump,
horn.
jump, air horn, make you jump, jump.
I bet toggles are for air horns. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. But I have an actual train horn on the truck. And I had it disconnected for a while, but I had a bunch of work done on it. And the mechanic was like, "Why is your train horn unhooked?" And I told him the story. So when I got it back, I honked at somebody. My son and I, we both jumped because we weren't used to it anymore. I went, oh, and oh crap. That thing shook the whole truck.
See, you need to just disconnect that because you're getting enough fights as it is.
You know, it's funny. The older I get, people don't people don't mess with me. I'm just the old guy, the opinionated old guy. But like for real, that train horn does start fighting. I used to know a man with a dome of silence, the shore
Ooh,
phone and his suit. Wow.
I was at what is it? The Starlight Lounge in Silver Lake? I think that's what it was. And there were like little domes that were above like certain conversation areas. And so you could actually talk and hear each other just because of the way the little dome was. So it was similar principle to
Oh,
that.
that's crazy. I said the dome of silence for the shoe phone. The theme song to Blue Oyster called Off Police Academy is gonna play if you hit this switch.
Either that or when's the last time you checked your suspension? Is your truck going to start bouncing down the road or something?
Knowing my dad, like a bunch of marbles will come out or something, or like
flame out of his
exactly. Engineers, as someone who grew up with an engineer, like it's not as sexy as it sounds. They are the most over ambitious humans on planet Earth. When we would do stuff at the job, I would tell my dad, like, dude, we're not working for NASA. We just need to connect 2 pipes. He would be like, okay, we're going to do this, then we're going to do that. And I'm like, look, man, just give me an elbow. Just give me an elbow, and we're just going to connect this.
Oh, I wish I met your dad.
And so I still don't know what I'm telling you, I'm scared to hit that button on the truck. And it's been 4 years. I've never flipped a switch. And you know what's funny? My son, he's getting of that age where he's like a teenager. He'll do crazy stuff. He's never touched it either.
Well, I mean, you could do some investigating before you go randomly flipping the potentially dangerous switch. See what's connected.
So you've met me. Do I look like I investigate things? I am literally a blunt object. I throw myself at projects. I'm like,
I was trying to encourage you to be a little more cautious.
they used to have a dome over phones in Montreal, pay phones, clear plastic glass.
Mhm.
They had them here in LA too, but that whole technology reminds me of like late 80s, early 90s. And they switched everything over because we have perpetual sunshine. Nothing but a G thing starts playing. I wish. Just look and trace the wires. I might have to. You might have hydraulics. No, we would buy and resell cars. He was really anti-hydraulics because he was a car purist and hydraulics destroy shocks. And I'm we just buy new shocks.
I thought you were supposed to put in like special shocks if you do that.
I've never I've never owned a lowrider. So I wouldn't know. I've raised a few vehicles, but it was always like because I'm the youngest in a really old family. I have cousins that like would tell me like, "Bro, do not own a lowrider." I had a cousin who did not let go of being cool. They pimped out an Astro van. They
Were
lowered
they
it. It was
inspired?
actually really. What's that?
Were they inspired by Pimp My Ride?
This was before Pimp My Ride. Because of, I told you the age of the people in my family. Like, I have a cousin who's like, she's probably like 62, 63. They were always way older than me. He didn't just want to mess with them. They are drama. No, the switches are drama. I think because like he was a bike and car guy, like it's just drama after a while. Lowriders have shocks and bags. I've seen a lowered and chopped Astro van. It was like still to this day, I thought it was so tough, but they had kids, and now their kids have kids. But it always makes me laugh of certain people who don't want to let go of their coolness. And a Mini Cooper, says the guy who literally wears battle vests to his kids' high school. And I'm driving, and the kids are giving me dirty looks, and I look at them like, only if you knew, kid. There was some kid that was he was trying to mean mug me, and I'm like, oh, he's trying to mad dog me. This hasn't happened in 30 years. Like, he thought I was young.
It reminds me of that footage where Tupac is going off on some guy who's mean mugging him, and then the camera pans over and it's this little like toddler. Toddler with resting bitch face. He's like, don't go nowhere alone, and the kid's like
I have yet to see a chopped VW bug or van in person. Holy Baba, where I live, it's the land of lowriders. Like if they could chop it, it's here.
how much lower can a VW bug or Mini Cooper get?
Oh, they have whole kits. They have whole kits where they literally drop the entire car. Just don't go over any speed bumps.
They're already small cars low to the ground.
I don't see Chevettes anymore. There was so much money. I used to buy and resell cars, but there's a show called Counting Cars. All of those house buying shows, Counting Cars, even the pawn show, it destroyed the underground market because people started doing research and knowing what their cars were worth. I told you, I bought a 69 Mustang for $500.
Wow.
14 years ago, I was at a party. Everybody was like, oh, look at the baby. I walked into a garage. We were having a conversation. I offered someone money. I didn't think they were going to take it, and they did. And I called my piece. I was like, come with the tow truck right now. Oh, yeah. People still talk about that. Like, people are like, that will never happen again to you. I have two. I have a good friend, the one that we were obsessed with, Major League as kids. When we were kids, we promised each other we were going to get a Ford Explorer van and travel America. We still make fun of each other for that one.
Back before that was a thing.
His parents had one, and it was they had a fancy one where it had like the swivel back seats. It was like a camper van,
So
and
I
we
have
were
a
like,
question.
oh, go ahead.
Well, talking about van life and whatnot and tiny
God.
houses, and I have a question for everybody. Would you get a composting toilet?
Were you here when I went off about van life?
Oh, I don't think so.
I discovered it one day. It's just fancy homelessness. That used to be a threat. If you're gonna live in a van by the river, I couldn't even afford half those vans that these people live in. Those are like 40. No way. Like van life. Watching those videos ruined it for me because people. It's different when you're 2 months into it and you're driving to Red Rocks. You go to New Mexico to the mines and you're driving to Mexico. Then a year later, you're like, I'm homeless. You know, like there I've seen some really heartbreaking van life videos, man. I can't believe you probably weren't watching that night. I went off one night because I spent 2 days watching van life videos.
I mean, some of these people have like jobs that they can do from the road, and they have like, family homes they can go back to, and all of that. So like there are different levels of van life, but um
Homelessness scares me. No, thank you.
but
Oh.
composting toilet, I'm like, mm, yeah, if I had to do van life, there would have to be some other method than the composting toilet. That just would not work for me.
Like real
Mm.
RV toilets are very efficient. I don't know why you have to get all hippy dippy with a compost toilet.
Well, part of the problem is the space and trying to make sure that your water tank doesn't freeze. And then a lot of them are like going places where they, don't have enough water for toilet flushing and drinking and all of that. So they're like, oh, look, I've got this 5-gallon jug and it lasts me for 10 weeks. That might be a little exaggeration for effect.
You're
So
not, but you're still sloshing all that goo around. I own, like, okay, so I inherited a trailer. Do you know I got rid of that thing within 6 months? I couldn't live in the man. That's just fancy homelessness. Man, I went off one night. I will spare you how dramatic I was, but when I discovered van life, I was like, no, why are people doing this to themselves? And people will do anything to be famous, like because you get millions of views if you do hashtag van life. Like I'll keep sewing at my house. I'm gonna keep sewing.
so no composting toilet for you.
Wait until we start using poop for fuel. We all will be at Taco Bell.
Uh, I'd rather do poop for fuel than driving around with it with mixed with moss in my composting toilet. Ugh.
I'm gonna see C and none of it. I'm gonna take C for the answer and deal with none of it until I have to. That is some apocalyptic, and see, this is why we need to help each other and uplift each other. Because van life, man, I told you I lost it at the idea of van life. In today's world, we glamorize, we make all these weird things glamorous.
Yeah.
Watch the real ones. Like, I'm telling you, 2 months into it, they're all chipper. Like, oh wow, I've seen Mount Whitney. I've been to all these crazy places. 2 years later, they're at the beach telling you why they're going back to their uncle's house, or if we use poop as full, the smell in and around vehicles would be horrific. Thank you. I'm over. I couldn't do any of it. No, thank you. I'm a modern human. Excuse me. There are islands where there's regulation. You have to compost the toilet. Wow. Many rich people live there too, like the blonde lady from ABBA.
And then like trying to dump it and
Now, if you're watching and you're into van life, please educate us. It scares me. That is, van life is what we used to threaten people with if they didn't finish college. At least that's was my parents literally, like, if you don't finish school, you'll be living down in a van by the river. That was like their threat, and it worked.
I was having some work done, and I had to like an overnight with no toilet. So that was not a good time. And I had a trash can with I triple bagged it, and I had cat litter in the bottom of the trash can. So that if I had to go to the bathroom in the night.
Do I have to sing Tom Petty? You don't have to live like a refugee. You don't have to live like a refugee.
I was really glad it was only one
Oh
night
my
like that.
God.
But you know, like when you gotta go, you gotta go.
See, but Alibaba in America, I don't think we have our stuff together enough to do stuff like that. Well, actually, okay, I did some welding at a rendering plant outside of Venice, which is by LAX. It's a really weird rendering plant, but we use that. Do we use it for electricity? I guess we do. Well, no, we reuse it for all kinds of things. I guess we kind of do that in America. We're just not as not as efficient. I guess we do.
Dose. Take.
The tank would be under the seat. You guys, I would not be in that car with any of you guys. I'll be walking.
I can't come over. I ran out of fuel.
See, and you guys, you know what? You guys are going off about this, but you thought I was crazy for thinking that we should bring back horses.
That we should what?
Bring back horses. I'm here for horses, not this nasty car idea that you guys have.
What, you think horse poop doesn't stink? Well, it's different.
Capitalism creates crappy jobs. There would be the picker-upper.
Crappy jobs.
Literally. Capitalism creates these jobs. Man, we'd be employing so many people if we brought back horses. Are you kidding me? Right now, ranch hands, like some people quit when they find out that's their job when they start off. Because they're literally the pooper scooper. The island in Sweden has been like that from the 50s and 60s.
Well, some of them
just invented
though.
Dose, I always say patent pending for when I sue everybody. So you just say patent pending.
I mean, I guess some of like the little islands and things, they don't have plumbing, full on plumbing. So
this is why we live in this city, Rashawn. I just don't want to handle people better. Neither do I. You know what's so funny? I'm extremely I can shoe a horse. I do all this cowboy stuff, but I'm from the city. I need modern. You know what's funny? If the power went out, I have all kinds of generators, all kinds of stuff, but I'm a modern human. The Ford fart. You need to patent that, Dose. You need to patent that. Methane is serious, though. People buried trash at my job in the 50s, and we have to poke holes in the mountain. Like I told you, the rookies think we're playing. Like there's a whole canyon where they used to bury trash from the 50s on, and there are multiple signs. We put a gate up. There's this weird canyon that says, "Do not smoke if you value your life." And they you think we're playing. If you light a lighter, the flame goes way bigger than it should. Just if you're just walking in that area. Ooh. Because trash creates, there's methane builds up.
I'm surprised you don't have one of those burn off thingies.
They're not legal where I am because we're in a burn area. That's the only reason we're not, because we're in a fire. We're in a the 07 fire burnt down half of the property.
But are we talking about the same thing? I mean,
valve,
one of those...
the release valve that is constantly burning off the methane.
Okay.
We can't have them.
Okay.
We can't have anything that's burning like that because of Southern California is fire prone.
Yeah.
You can run out of alcohol. There is a guy who picks up scrap. He has a 1950s Ford, I believe it's a Ranger, so it's a big body truck. It's ran on propane. He has a propane tank in the back of his truck.
There was I saw on OfferUp a 1940s pickup truck, and I wanted it. And I contacted the guy, and I'm like, "Is this still available? How much is it?" And he's like, "Oh, yes, it is." And what did he say it was? 14,000 or something like that. And so I'm like, I didn't. That wasn't what I wanted to spend. And then I got a notification the other day that it sold for 6. And I'm like,
Ah,
6 I would have paid.
was it the ones that have like looks like a big head?
It was straight out of Cars.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yes. That's like a mission of mine is to find the Sanford and Son truck, and I'm gonna put Sewing and Sons on the side. That is like a true, but now, like you said, they want real money because they know the value of their car.
Yeah. And
The internet ruined that business.
I was sad when I saw that had gone, because I do need a pickup. I had a pickup truck and we used it not infrequently, and then my squatter crashed it. And I no longer have a pickup truck, and the times we've needed to pick up something.
It's crazy though, because like my old Beater 88, the blue book is $17,000.
Good gracious.
That's why when that kid down the street wanted 10 grand and my son, hey, will you get that truck for me? It's only 10,000. That still made me laugh to this very day. And you know what the funny thing is? When did I start that? That's like I was talking about that when I first met you.
Yeah.
He hasn't sold it.
Mm.
It's still sitting in front of us. I know the guy. I've known him since I've come back from Portland. So I've known him for almost 15 years. He's a good kid. He's another one who like he looks like he's 15.
Oh.
And he owns a home, has a wife and a life, and he's a cool guy, but he always, because I always tell him like, bro, why do you always wear a beard? And he's like, people don't respect me.
I understand. I understand all too well, because nobody respects the kids, and like, yeah. I used to age drop, just work it into conversations because I got so tired of the disrespect. But I would carry ID so I wouldn't get picked up for truancy. It's a real thing, and it's a problem.
I told a story about it at Popeyes. My son wears a Raiders hat, and it invokes all kinds of things out of people. And there was these 2 sheriffs, and this one guy was just a cocky punk, but he walks up to me and he was like, I can't believe you let your son wear that hat. And I looked at him and I was like, I bet you weren't even old enough to remember when the Raiders were in LA. And he looked at me and he's like, no, I wasn't. Oh, it made me feel so old when he said that. How old was he? Was like probably like, you only being a cop is like college age. You could be like, no, you could be 19, 20 something on the streets as a cop. There's a place near me where they build on top of old barge dump. They had gas tubes, but the tubes been to cut over time. The garbage dropped over time 6 feet. Wow.
Yeah, they don't think about how much stuff settles and what's off gassing and all of that. Although, I mean, like, they have engineers evaluate these sites. I don't know why it's such a surprise to them that the space between the trash ends up compacting and making everything sink. Like,
do you want to have that conversation? We rely too much on experts, and like there's a town that I know that the residents now, anyone who's is from that town can sign up for a lawsuit because they can now prove why everybody, myself included, from this town has health problems because of a dump that's off on the far left side of town. And people who live closer to it, they started looking up cancer rates and all these crazy things, and you know what, it's a direct correlation to when this place went in.
Wow.
And now it's this huge lawsuit. I didn't even realize how big it was until I started looking things up, and it's a big deal.
Oh, wow.
So like we can say like, oh, the experts said, oh, this is structurally sound, this and that. The high school I went to was built on a dump. and they would open up the vents and it would smell like burnt eggs every 2 weeks.
Oh dear.
But it was the methane.
Ugh.
How many generations of people grew up with hissing power lines over there? If you go anywhere to South LA or even in my town, we have these huge walkways near the LA River. And if you go walking by the power lines, you can hear them hissing still.
At least we don't have mega snakes in them like they do in Australia. I saw that. That was scary. I'm not even afraid of snakes. I like snakes. They're cool, but not when they're big enough to eat me.
The one where it fell through the roof, I didn't sleep for like 2 weeks. Did you see that video where they were poking at
No.
this? There was this one snake that was so big it collapsed the roof.
Wow. I saw the one that was like going from the roof over to the trees, and the people are like, "Oh wow, that's a big one," and like just totally calm about it. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this snake was like 20 feet long. It was so big, so big.
You know what's really funny? I told you I knew someone that had illegal 20-foot Argentine boa constrictors. And after hanging out with them, I now know why it's illegal to have scary, ginormous snakes that aren't in a terrarium or in a museum or in a freaking or in the jungle somewhere.
Mm.
They were huge. And he had them in an apartment. He lived in an apartment. And the snakes had one room and him and his wife had the other room.
And it's the whole Mike Tyson principle. You don't want the snake to just decide, you know what? I feel like eating human today.
Oh. And you know what the funny thing is? This person was he was snake snack size. He was 5'4", 5'5". I wonder what happened to him. He was like in his 40s when I was in my 20s. And I stopped hanging out with him because he had scary snakes in his
I remember one time I had gone to see like an outdoor concert thing, and this guy had a snake, and it was, kind of cool looking and was, moderate size, like, just a little snake, and he had it in his hands and it was winding around, and I'm like, oh cool, because I hold your snake, and he gave me the snake to hold, and I'm admiring the snake, and I gave it back, and then he's like, yeah, I found it in that planter over there, and I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
what? So we don't know if this snake's used to being handled. I don't know if it's like venomous, or I'm just handling this snake like it's no big deal. Like I could have died.
Well, I'm not trying to tell you anything to get bit, but like gopher snakes are pretty docile. I deal with them all the time. I was digging a post I was literally had a post hole digger and I was digging a hole for a post, and I poked into a gopher hole's layer, and I moved it with my bare hands. And I literally put it next to a hole and it slithered off into another hole. Probably thanked me because there was probably a gopher in there.
I mean, the snake didn't seem like agitated or anything like that, so it's probably perfectly safe, but
But saying that, I get paid to remove rattlesnakes, so do the exact opposite of everything I just said if you see a rattlesnake.
Right? Don't pick it up with your bare hands. Don't shake its tail and go, who's got the little rattle? Who's got the little rattle?
I have one day I'll bring it home because the Kevlar leg things are getting ancient. But I have all kinds of crazy gear up at the shop.
Maybe it's time for replacement gear. Isn't there a shelf?
I haven't been sniped at or bit. The problem is I've never been in. I've been doing this for 12 years. I've never been bit.
Well, now is not the time to try it out. If it's old, chuck it and get some new stuff.
I do need to. It's been a while though. The weather is so weird. In the past couple of years, we've had. It's all about the water table. The more water we have, the more animals we have.
Mm.
So with the rain, we're gonna have way more animals this year. When we have droughts, they either they go somewhere else or they don't mate as much.
Mm. The circle of life.
I know, like that's like when I turn the corner with my headlights and all the bunnies are running. I'm like, I wonder how many of you guys made it through the night.
No.
But it is the circle of life, because my job's out in the country. There's coyotes. There's all. It is the circle of life. Cougars.
This world's
That's
a vicious place.
that's why you think you think I'm joking. I have literally seen 250-pound cats where I've turned around and they are at least 6 to 7 feet away from me.
Ooh.
This is why you should never I learned the hard way. You should not weed whack with headphones on.
Even without the headphones, you're not going to hear them coming.
Well, you have earmuffs, and I would put my ear pods inside my earmuffs, and so it would amplify the sound. So even my crummy iPhone headphones sound amazing with chainsaw rated earmuffs on.
Well, no, I just meant that cats are stealthy, and so they're going to just sneak right up on you and
they're the same color as the hills.
Mhm.
There was one time, like, man, I'm lucky I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. They're magnificent, but they're also bigger than you. Like they're lanky. You can't run. Where you gonna run? Where you gonna run? A cougar will laugh at you as you try to run from it.
Yeah, don't think about your house cat and what it does if you throw something in its eye line and it's like ooh, and it's off. So don't be the cat toy.
But I told you that thing from Doctor Who works. I got it from Doctor Who, and everybody thought that I was like Ranger Rick. They thought that I was just wildlife expert, and I didn't say anything for a couple days because this cougar kind of wandered in the shop, and I grabbed a light, and I went like this. I just started shaking the light past its vision, and it ran away. And I literally got that from Doctor Who.
Well, and at least it's a weapon if the thing gets closer.
I was in the shop. I would that thing would have had to go a good 15, 20 feet before it touched any of us.
Yeah, it doesn't take them long to go 15 to 20 feet.
And the sad thing is they become less and less. They're not scared of humans, The squirrels creep me out because they're not scared of humans. Imagine a 250 pound. The squirrels. They creep me out because they're not scared of people. Imagine a cat, a 300-pound cat.
I know I've said before, I used to have a house cat, and there were times I was very glad that she was her size and I was my size.
A dog will let you know that Timmy went down a well. A dog will fight for you. Have a great night, Dose. I'm about to end this in a minute. We've reached the poop car portion, the food portion. We've gone around Jupiter twice. My surger quit on me. But you know what though? It's the same old stuff. I use it like it's industrial,
Just saw
How much?
news.
Oh, so go ahead.
No, I'm just Rashawn says just saw a news ticker and saw over $5 in California. Yeah, it's been over $5. It's been over $6. Yeah, the national average. I wish it were
$5. I wish it were $5. And you know what's really in my flex? I have to get 91. I have to I got all this new work. And this was a while ago, but the mechanic was like, I have really bad news for you. I was like, what? He's like, you have to use 91 in your car. I'm like, no.
My mechanic's don't get Arco. And I'm like, but he's like, don't get Arco.
My truck has a 20 has two tanks. One's 20 gallons and one's 15. I have to go get a loan to fill up the truck.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And the flex, oh my gosh. I filled it up just the other day and I stopped looking at $79. I stopped looking. Because
Oh.
it takes it directly out of my my account. So I just turned my head. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you know what's really funny? I do a lot of driving. And
Mm-hmm.
I always wonder, like, if I lived in Iowa, this would be way cheaper.
See, I just want to get an Aptera. Just for that reason alone.
Can we get like solar powered cars or something? Yeah, gas is insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
Being
Alibaba's
able,
playing. What?
no, sorry, go ahead.
Alibaba's paying California prices for gas.
For real. Same in Australia too. Like around the world, people are paying a lot of money. We're lucky because we will start a war in America for gas, but we pay a lot here.
Joy, good 206. Oh, per liter. I was thinking per gallon. Sorry, I'm all right.
$7.30 a gallon.
Well, that's Canadian. You have
Yeah,
to do
but like
extra step.
our dollar isn't that much as it used to be. Last week it was 207. Today it's 185. You know what? Let's see if I took a picture because sometimes I take the most random pictures because I'm like, I want people to know that we're paying almost $6 for gas in the state of California.
And we've paid over 6. We've paid close to 7 for a while there. Oh my goodness. It's brutal.
I'm trying to see. It's been a while since I've taken a pump picture because I'm not kidding you. I just stopped after a certain price. I quit looking.
I went to San Diego to pick up a sewing machine. And I'm like, well, this adds to the price of the machine significantly.
I think about that all the time. I think about that like is it worth it? Like when I go downtown or even like when I used to drive to Ventura. I used to make fun of myself because I would be like, I just spent $50 in gas to buy a $10 sewing machine. But that it never added up to me. It never did. That's why I felt better when I would buy 6 or 7 at a time.
Even if they were touch and sews.
Hey, there were some stylists mixed in there. I had some stylists mixed in there. A few Futuras, a couple brothers, you know. Gosh, I'm looking at the touch and sew I purchased in Ventura is literally looking at me like liar, liar. You know what? Ventura is the hub of. I have no idea why so many people had touch and sews there. I think it's because it's socioeconomically speaking, there's money there, and so those are the kind of people that would probably buy a new sewing machine every year. You know.
Or also, like when you think about when the community built up and expanded, you know. So if
You
people
could
moved in the 70s, then
very much so. Very much. A lot of the stuff I purchased in Ventura was from the 70s. A lot of it. A lot of it. But I love that antiquated 1970s James Bond stuff. I'm a sucker for it. I don't even know why anymore. I actually went and got help for it. I love the 1970s stuff. Which leads me to where I'm going to make a Battlestar Galactica cape. I think it's because they keep on having those dramatic shots when they walk down in their uniforms with those giant capes on. And it's just a giant cape with a collar with a gang of accents and appliques on it.
you could do a shaped collar for extra swish. Like not a shaped shoulder for extra swish.
I think that's the design that they have. I really have to take a look before I start. You know, I literally just throw myself at a problem. Like, all right, I'm gonna make a cape, and I just start grabbing stuff and cutting. And like in my old videos, there I showed how I made like there was this one cape. I literally just got weights. I laid on the floor and just started tracing around myself like this. And I cut the cape, around the shape of my body, and it fit perfect.
Why not?
Oh man, that's when I had brown carpet. I I had brown carpet all the way up until the pandemic.
Oh my. Was that left over from your grandmother?
Yeah. And one day I was like, I think I should get new carpet. It's because I kept on seeing those Empire I watch television, okay? And I live in LA County, and they have these call 1-800-EMPIRE today. I called Empire. Advertisement works. They came to my house, man. They hooked my living room up for a good price because no one was buying carpet. So I shopped local. The girl in that Scarlett O'Hara velvet dress. I saw that last week online.
It's still on the pole. I was just fixing my curtains today. I did not wear the pole.
I have 1980s brown carpet where I'm sitting right now. That's awesome. I was loyal to my carpet. When I and see, that's the thing. I redid my entire house. And so, like, people would walk in my house, they'd be like, your house looks great, but your living room is like 1982. Because I
See,
had brown carpet.
when
What's
people
that?
think of the 80s, they think of all those like day glow colors and the, like the, what was it, the Nickelodeon patterns and stuff like that. But real 80s decor was chintz and brown and
So brown. Do you know my parents, though? My parents, I still ask my mom about it and she laughs. In the original house, my parents had orange shag carpet.
Mhm.
And then they graduated to the brown carpet.
In the house when I was a kid, we had like those polyester tweed like flat sofas with the like hard wedge pillows covered in vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
And we had avocado green washer and dryer, you know. Oh, and I've always loved the antique sewing machines. My first sewing machine was a Holly Hobby with a Holly Hobby oven.
Not Holly Hobby. Oh, wow.
A Singer knockoff.
I thought my Shimmer and Sparkle was bad. It's a Razzle Dazzle knockoff. No, a Bedazzled. Do you remember the Bedazzled sewing machine? It's a knockoff of that
Oh goodness.
with the bedazzler.
1980s wood panel walls. Yeah, that was the worst because they weren't even wood panel. They were like that, like MDF with pictures of wood. Oh, it was awful. Alibaba said I had orange shag at one point in a house I lived in. I still have the shag rug rake. Oh goodness. I just remember that after the shag you had the shaped shag, and it had like little hills and valleys, and some part would be like Berber and then some part would be sticking up with the shag, and it was like in different colors.
Do you remember the carpet rake?
Oh, we never had a carpet rake.
I lived in a house of orange shag carpet.
Oh goodness, that's the rug Alibaba has now. the carpet that's kind of made to look like a stone creek bed or something.
You know,
Wow.
I have a question. When did we get rid of like wood paneling and like the horse decor or like having bears up on the wall? Like, when did we get rid of that weird 1970s like decor?
Well,
Because
when we stopped hunting the bears, I'm sure in places where they hunt bears, they still put their heads on the wall.
no, but like okay, like you go to Vegas, there are no longer the hotels with like those seedy
Oh.
hotels with like the mirrors on the wall, on the ceiling. When did we stop having the the horse decor? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about in mass.
Yeah.
The southwestern decor where like, wood paneling on the house. It's just I recently I'm really into looking in properties that I'll never live in across the country. And they were selling this old mansion in North Dakota and the entire house was wood paneling. And it was
Well,
very dated. It was very dated.
well, like what kind of wood paneling?
1970s bachelor. I'm rich and I put this giant house out in the middle of nowhere in Montana and never ever changed anything.
Alibaba says, two and Shag needed that shag rake. And the Joy says, Mom had rope braided rugs. Oh, I remember, summer camp and stuff. They teach you how to do the macrame. Alibaba says that was out in 1985 or 6. I don't think it's come back.
Do you know what's really funny? Out of everything I've ever sewn, I refuse to make rugs. 5 or 6 years ago, I witnessed someone destroy a sewing machine making a roll rug for a family member, and they destroyed a sewing machine.
Oh dear.
And it looked nice. They rolled all the fabric, they sewed everything, they braided it, and it was all perfect. But it destroyed the machine.
Mm.
It was a commercial machine, but like rug making is a lot harder than it looks.
My mom was talking about how she had her old mat in the back of her car, her old like area rug in the back of her car to protect the seats when she fixed things up. And so I suggested that if she wanted to put some seam binding on it, I had that machine. And my mom says we'd have to use it on the floor because there's no way we can lift it up onto a table. She says, I think the guys at Goodwill all got a hernia getting that into my car.
Yikes.
Oh, it's the rug machine is no joke. I'm like it I don't know. I don't know how much it weighs, but 100 pounds? I don't know. It was a lot.
The early repurpose brought back wood walls, but it was barn doors.
Mm.
That is huge here where people want those barn doors on their side for their side doors. It's such a I'm not going to talk trash about it because I make money doing side jobs for things like that. And for some reason, go ahead.
Farmhouse aesthetic. That's all I was going to say.
And people are obsessed with wrought iron fences.
Oh, those are nice. Classic.
You get like they're a bear to put in, but that's why you go to school. All right, we've been going for almost 4 hours. We've gone around Jupiter twice. We've invented a very disgusting car.
Thanks to Dose.
Dose invented a car. See, I told you, Dose, you got to say patent pending because people like me gonna start throwing "we" on that real quick. I will be back at it on Wednesday. I always say I'm going to go for an hour. And then, what's funny? My lovely co-host and I, we start out saying we're just going to walk down the street. But then we walk down the street and the Regal Beagle is there. We go to the Regal Beagle and then we're running past street signs to see how fast we're going. That is one of the greatest videos ever.
Really
I'll be back at it on Wednesday. I hope everybody has a great night. I think everybody. Today has been a bit of a crazy day, but we'll be back at it tomorrow. I hope everybody has a great week. I'll see you on Wednesday. Like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.